Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rochelle and this is Brampton Gardener, and tonight we have very special guests of the lovely owners and content creators over on Mayfield Ranch. So they'll be popping in shortly, but I just wanted to come in and say hello to everybody. And if you are watching this on the replay, thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoy the show tonight. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask them and you're not live in the chat to ask, just drop those links down in the comments below. And if I see anything for either one of them to answer for you, I will let them know that those questions are there, and hopefully they will get back to you as quickly as they can. So we have had a beautiful week here. Monday and Tuesday were 89 to 91, very, very warm. So we did end up going to the river, and it was absolutely beautiful day. And then Wednesday it dropped down to like 81, and we had a few storms roll through. And then it looks like the next week or two we're looking at early 70s, high 60s, something in there. So it's a bit cool for summertime, but it's great weather for actually working in the garden, going to school, because the school my daughter goes to does not have air conditioning, so that's good. And yeah, it'll be nice for them. It's just, unless you're actually at the beach, mid 70s to me is the ideal temperature. Hey, Danny, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And Mayfield Ranch is going to be in here soon. So, yeah, I didn't actually get a lot planted this week. I was planning on doing some, and I got a lot of it done last week. And then I'm kind of waiting for, my husband has to kind of get these big pots filled up to see how many planters left worth of potting mix that I have, or I might have to go buy more potting mix. Hopefully not, but I do need to do my stackable planters, the blue dollar store ones, for my beans. My beans are like totally getting overgrown in the winter sowing. Actually, I think they're in the picture. Are they in the picture? Let me see if I can figure out which way to go. Yeah, there they are. So here's my beans. Look at, they're enormous. They're enormous. Oh, my finger's doing weird things with the camera. But yeah, so in those two blue winter sowing containers in the picture there, those are my beans, and they definitely need to get potted up into their new home. Hey, and Dale, how are you? Out in the garden, but have me playing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And welcome in, Tiny Tim Posey. Howdy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Out in the garden, very nice. I went out and I actually went and fertilized everything this evening that was already planted. And all my little seedlings, they all got a little nice dose of some food, so that's good. Hey, Homestead, where you are, welcome in. Thank you so much. And Hobby Hobbit, good evening. Hello, Brampton. Hope everyone has I forgot I can click on the comments. Listening as you're driving. Okay, Homestead Hessel, hi, she's back. All right, thank you so much for coming in. Drive safely, both of you, all of you, anyone that's listening in the car. Does anyone notice a quality difference on the camera tonight? Just curious. Because I had been I'd been using the XSplit VCam because it gives me control over the webcam, and I can do the green screen with it. And I had just been using the free version, and it used to have the big old watermark on the bottom. And then I was like, and I didn't know if I wanted to pay for the full thing. And then I got a thing in the mail saying I got like a 50% discount on the lifetime purchase of it. So I did purchase it, which means that it got rid of my the watermark that was on it, and it's opened up more features. So I don't know if it's going to give me a cleaner shot or anything like that, but just curious. Anne says the background is much clearer. Oh, that's good. Okay, cleaner background. See, that's the thing, is I only ever watch it on the desktop, and then every once in a while I'll go and watch it on the TV, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what the quality is on the camera. So it says it's HD, but I don't know what that means. Hey, G Mama, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? Everyone is saying hi to everybody else. And I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I did have this beauty open up in my window. So I have successfully overwintered this very small hibiscus for the past 2 years, and she's still inside in the window because I know it's time that she could be going outside, but she had several flower buds on her, and I did not want to change anything. She's happy. and she's going to bloom. So if I do take it outside, I actually have two blooms on it right now. This one here is fading, and then there's another one that just opened below it. If I do take her outside, I think I might wait until she's done blooming and can do her thing. Because I know last year when I brought her out, I put her on the deck and I planted it, and like all the buds fell off, and I was like, no. I mean, this is the whole reason I grow it, is for the buds, right? And I'm going to be bringing it back in over to overwinter it. So I might just keep it in the same pot. I might just put it out in its little pot and then bring it back in the fall. We'll see how that goes. But it is so pretty. It is a Rio hibiscus I got. I don't even know if it has a different name. That's just the brand is Rio. Do you have Rio in the US? They do mainly tropical. So hibiscus, diplodenias, and a lot of those like super tropical annuals is what the Rio brand does. And actually I have a friend on the gardening board who works at the like giant Rio greenhouse. And so she posted these pictures, and it's like a football field full of all of these Rio planters that will be coming to a Costco near us soon. So that's exciting. So it sounds familiar. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was just like a Canadian branding or whatever, but on my lovely pink drink tonight. This is ruafsa and milk. And if you're not familiar with ruafsa, don't worry, neither was I. It is a Middle Eastern, it's like a cordial almost. It's a drink concentrate, and it is absolutely delicious. And it's got all kinds of different botanicals in it, and rose water. It's got a very rosy flavor to it, and all kinds of, like, it's really, really hard to describe, but it's sweet. And then you can mix it with different things. So my favorite way to drink it is mixed with just milk. But you can mix it with, it's also very popular mixed with like watermelon juice, and it's actually pretty good with some gin. So yeah, you know what? I'll pull a picture up on the screen. We have it everywhere here. It's very refreshing. But I can get it at any grocery store in the area. So you might have seen it. I don't know. They say it's the most refreshing drink in the world. Oh, I got my guest is down in the basement. I don't know how long she's been there. I've just been rambling. Okay, I'll bring you up in just a minute. I just wanted to share this screen really quick. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It comes in this bottle like this, and it is a summer drink of the East. And it is it's made in Pakistan. And I mean, the color on it is absolutely beautiful. So it is like a syrup. The two key ingredients here are rose water and kura, which is also known as screw pine essence. It's not a pine, but it is from the pandanus plant, if that helps. I don't know if that helps anybody. I've never heard of that plant either. And honestly, it's one of those things that's just really, really hard to explain. But if you happen to see it, maybe in your Middle Eastern section at your grocery store or anything like that, it's cheap and it's good, and looks here like they just mixed it with maybe some sparkling water or something. But yeah, it's very floral tasting and sweet. So it's very unusual. So anyways, I would like to bring up my beautiful guest if she's ready. She's down in the basement or the green room, or I don't know. Ends up being the basement, I think, right? All right, here she is. So let me pick which, there we go. This one.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
That's better. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me to participate.
Oh, I'm glad to have you. It's always nice to have someone up here to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, to chit chat with.
Someone to just chat with. Exactly. So is this your first time on a live? Have you been on lives before? Or?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, it's so exciting. Your first time on a live. How exciting. Okay, do you want to just introduce yourself really quick?
Sure. My name's Katie from Mayfield Ranch. I recently started the YouTube channel just a couple months ago, actually. So still pretty new to this and learning quite a bit. We've had the property for several years. We bought it back in 2018. So kind of a dream come true to get some acreage so we could have animals and have a big garden, and pretty exciting.
Very nice. Yeah, the animals. You've got a lot of different animals there. And Donkeys. Okay, I'm loving
Donkey.
the donkeys. I don't know of anyone else that I watch on YouTube that has donkeys. I used to watch like Arms Family Homestead quite a
Okay.
while ago, and I think they have baby donkeys or miniature donkeys.
Okay, yeah, the mini donkeys.
They
Those
have the mini donkeys. Those are new, and they are freaking adorable. They had
yeah.
babies, and I'm like, oh my god, that is like the absolutely cutest animal. Oh my gosh.
It
Yeah.
is. I've wanted donkeys like my entire life. It's something that I've always wanted. So it's always kind of just been like, a long-term dream and one of those things you never think you're gonna get. So it was pretty exciting to be able to buy some property and finally get donkeys. So
Okay,
all
why
of our,
why donkeys? Where did that? Hey, Cassandra, welcome in.
who knows? It's like a really big puppy dog, I guess. I just wanted one. I love all kinds of animals, but
Wonderful
I always wanted
assistance.
a
Yeah.
donkey.
Too many times you were watching the Brady Bunch go through. Oh no, that's not a that's a burro. That's a well, burro is donkey.
Same thing.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a what's no, but what's the one they use to go down into the Grand Canyon? They go on a
Yeah.
is it a
Same.
is it a donkey or is it the mule?
I think they have both probably,
Yeah,
but
both. Okay,
they have donkeys for sure.
I lost my chat window. There it is. I had so many screens open, I lost it. Yeah, the donkeys are hilarious. We have there's some donkeys that live here in town at like the one of the main parks in town has a petting zoo.
Oh,
And
okay.
so they do like pony rides and they have goats and sheep and they have all kinds of different animals in there. Each year they'll get like either baby pigs or baby cows, but they always have these two or three donkey at the front. They are so funny. Like the sound, the
Yeah, they're
noises they
noisy.
make.
They're noisy little monsters.
They're
Oh,
noisy and they're so funny. They're powerful. Oh, okay. Guardian
hmm.
animals. Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
they
that's
will.
great.
They'll
That's
definitely
awesome.
protect your animals as long as they like your animals. We adopted one little goat after we already had our little family of animals out there, and they didn't care for her, so we had to be careful and separate them.
Welcome to my Cape Cod life. Welcome, welcome. Oh, and Jennifer Taylor. Hey, I didn't even see you slip in. How are you doing tonight? I love her donkeys too. They are so cute. They're so cute. Yeah, so you're in Northern California.
Yeah, we are. We're in Northern California, so
Okay.
just about an hour north of Sacramento.
Hmm. Okay, my grandma lived in Gridley
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for
not too far.
years. And then my uncle was in like Yuba City and Sacramento. My dad
Yep.
was born in Santa Cruz. And
Okay. So
so
you're
he still has
familiar with the
family
area.
that area. I grew up in Oregon though. I grew up in Salem. So
Okay.
West Coast, but rainier. You got better weather. You
Here.
got much better weather than I grew up with. But yeah, I know that area. I've driven through that area pretty
Hmm.
fairly often. Been to Shasta and
Okay.
Shasta
Yeah.
Lake, and we had friends that lived in Redmond. And
My dogs are helping out here. They want to be in video.
oh, that's fine as long as they don't knock the camera over. We are dog friendly. We are a dog friendly channel.
Try
Oh,
to get them to
homestead
be
is
quiet.
in a central. Burro is the Spanish word for dog. Yeah, that's why I was like, wait. I was trying to think of mule, and donkeys make noises. Oh, you've heard donkey noises, right, G Mama? Tell me you've heard donkey noises. Come on. If not, I'm sure Katie could come up with a nice video of some donkey noises for you.
Yeah, we definitely could do that. They're noisy. So we have kind of the way our property's laid out. As we go out our garage door to feed them, they can hear us shut the back door,
Oh
and
no.
Mama just starts calling us. Or even if they've been fed and we go out to do something else in the yard, if she's decided it's time for treats, she sounds the alarm and lets us
Oh
know
my
she's
goodness.
waiting for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Yes, mule is a horse and donkey cross. Yes, thank you. Hey,
Yeah.
Pam, thank you so much for coming in. Container Crops. Thanks, Dossity Dawning for coming in. Oh no, you're afraid of donkeys. My mom had a terrible scar on her leg from getting kicked by a donkey when she was young.
Oh
Oh
no.
no.
They're
Oh
really good.
yeah. I mean, accidents happen, right? I mean,
It does.
that's
I mean,
unfortunate.
you do have to be kind of careful. They're really strong, and that's their defense mechanism is their back legs, really.
Mine
So,
too.
yeah.
Always lead with the kick.
Uh, Oh, well, that's terrible. I'm sorry that happened to your mom.
So I was just gonna pop up her channel on the street. On the screen. If you haven't gone over there and visited, you got to see a look at their lovely new logo. I'm just refreshing it. Here we go. There we go. So here is the channel. I love this little logo. It's so cute. A little Peking donkey.
You know,
That
my
is
niece,
adorable.
so I have a picture that's drawn after our donkey Cora where she's peeking around the fence at me. So my niece actually hand drew that. She's an incredibly talented graphic artist.
Oh, so this is a hand drawn by your niece. Oh, I love it.
Mhm.
I love a story behind one. Yeah, my logo, my daughter drew
Oh,
my logo, and then I did kind of we had to tweak it a bit to get it to be more round.
okay.
But most of it is still her drawing, but like the arbor and the flowers that she drew kind of had to come out because it was too busy for the logo thing when I digitized it. But yeah, the drawing was of me that she drew that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, if you watch the videos, you will definitely. Oh, they fight too. Oh, everyone fights. No. Yes, she got a logo. I pushed her on that. I was like, okay, we gotta jazz up your page here a little bit.
Yes, she definitely
Yeah,
needs it.
so she got her logo done here. She got her cover page up here. She's got her links for Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, if yours doesn't look like this, it should.
Thank you.
So here, let me drop her link down in the chat. Let's see if we can get her up to 90 at least by tonight. Come on, 100 would be awesome because then she could have her own personal link and not all of this UCL blah blah blah, all this nonsense. It would say Mayfield Ranch. So once you get 100, you can go in and change that, which is really awesome. Um, yeah, it is such a cute logo, and I love this the story behind it. So you got quite a few videos just for just starting out.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up. So I had originally planned, okay, we'll do one a week and just keep a consistent schedule. And we've been able to do it a little bit more frequently. Sometimes Gary's participating in the videos. So I think things are getting a little bit easier. Um, just tough to always figure out what am I going to film. I always have more things to do than I have time to film them.
Oh, this looks good. So this is the dehydrating blueberries. Okay, we're not gonna like watch the whole video, but I have never done that. So you wait until you buy them on sale.
Yeah, if you have, we didn't, our plant isn't big enough, but we bought them on sale at the local market.
I'm just gonna flip through here, and I've never thought to do blueberries.
You
Normally,
know,
if they're on sale, we buy them and then we force everyone in the family to keep eating them until so they don't go bad. And then when they start to turn, I throw them in a smoothie.
oh,
But
that's a
this is
good
a great
idea.
idea. I do have a
Yeah.
dehydrator. Yeah.
It's a good idea, especially so we were actually going to go camping, and so we were trying to prep some items to
I'm
take
just
with us
gonna.
camping, and it's so convenient
Oh,
to
look
just
at
take some
that! And then you just throw them in a
dehydrated.
jar.
Hmm.
That is great because I love dried blueberries, like in granola or anything like that. Right?
Yeah, it's so simple. It's really convenient to have, or especially like oatmeal. It's nice to throw different fruits
Oh,
into
yeah, yeah, yeah,
oatmeal.
yeah.
Super simple. Throw it in the fridge, right? Make some overnight oats grab them on the way to work. It's really nice, and then you've got a healthy option.
So which video is gonna have me a good donkey noise? This one?
There's probably the one to the left there. So you
So
think you
you
want a
want
donkey?
to? Okay.
That's gonna have some cute stuff.
And I did watch this one, as you can see. Okay. And since you're not monetized, we are gonna go zoop. We're not watching those ads.
Yes, get the yes.
Okay. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Not typical. I think everybody should have donkeys. I love them. So spoiler alert. At the end of this video, I'm going to recommend you get them if you're interested. They're perfect.
Spoiler alert.
I wanted to share 15 things that
I'm gonna recommend everybody get them.
before you get donkeys. Now, number one is the absolute, by far, the most important thing that I want you to consider. We're going to start with 15, and we're just going to go down the list, and we'll get to it quickly. Stick around with us to the very end because there's something you're not going to want to miss at the very end of this video. Number 15. Poop. What are you going to do with all that poop?
Oh, she can't hear it? Okay, hold on.
So if you're already a homesteader, you already have livestock, you've probably already considered this. Maybe not such a big deal. But I had a friend of mine once want to come over and visit the farm and bring her kids, and she says, I don't know, is there a lot of poop? and it made me laugh. I kind of thought it was funny. She's kind of a city girl. So anyways, what are you gonna do with it? Do you have a garden? Are you gonna put it in a compost bin? Okay, number 14 is, do you have water and power? So power is not really critical. It's helpful. It's kind of nice if you need to go out in the middle of the night and you have electricity so you can get a light out there. But if not, solar lights are an option. That's what we use. Water is critical. Do you have water pipes running out to the animals, like where you want to keep your animals? If not, that's really something to consider before you get animals. Now, of course, you can run long hoses, but if you're thinking about getting animals and you want to get things set up, I would encourage you to consider running some pipes out there. So number 13, where are you going to store your stuff? And by stuff, I mean their halters, their lead ropes, things like that, fly spray. There's a bunch of other stuff. Where are you going to keep it? Have you thought about that? It's pretty convenient when it's out near the animals. Even things like shovels, rakes for picking up their poo and cleaning out their bedding. Have you thought about where you're going to keep that? Mama knows where we keep that. Number 12. So why are you getting the donkeys? Are you trying to get them as a guardian animal for your livestock? It could be a great option. What are you going to do if they don't like your livestock? What are you going to do if they're not a good guardian animal? Are you willing to separate them, put them in another fenced area? Do you have the space for something like that?
So is that a goose or is that the donkey she's hearing?
No, it's a goose.
It is a goose. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Number 11.
Just
Do you
making
have a
sure.
dry place to store all that feed? Do you know how much a donkey eats? All right, number 10. Do you have a secure place to tie them up for the farrier, maybe the vet, or just training? If not, think about that. We have one. We have a few. All right, you guys, that brings us to number 9. What if you adopt a donkey and she's pregnant? It happens. It happened to us, huh, Mama? It happened to us. Are you willing to have another addition to the family? So we certainly were, but it took a little extra work and it was kind of last minute. We weren't planned. So we made it work. Mama made it work and we made it work, and now we have Gunner.
Oh my goodness, that would have been a
Number 8.
surprise.
Do you guys have any shade trees? It's not a must-have, but it sure is a nice to have.
I like this idea, the shade trees. Sometimes you don't think of.
It's nice to have a shade tree for them to get under.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice thing to think about before you get animals.
If you only
Yeah.
get one thing out of this list, stick around for number 1 because it is by far the most important thing for you to consider. Number 7. Do you guys have a barn? If you don't have a barn, do you have a dry place for your animals to come in out of the weather?
Is that an ear?
And flashback to number 9. If you do adopt a pregnant donkey, are you willing to build a second one? Number 6. How much property do you have? And how much do you think you need?
They're so cute. Are you twirling?
So that brings us to number 5. Number 5 is the commitment that it takes.
Trying to keep it interesting.
For me, they're my family. I love them like family. I'm committed for life. For others, that might mean something a little bit different. But you need to think about what that means to you. And are you prepared for the commitment to have donkeys? Now, if you're already homesteading and you have livestock, you have animals, you probably have a pretty good idea about what that might look like. If you're already out feeding in the morning and you're feeding in the evening, you're putting your animals up, then you've probably got a pretty good idea of what that might be from a commitment standpoint. But if this is your first animal, I think you should really think about, what does that commitment look like to you? Okay, you guys, number 4 is probably an obvious one. Have you thought about how much it's going to cost? Donkeys are pretty expensive. They're worth every penny, but just think about all the costs associated with owning livestock, and donkeys in particular, because they do require a pretty specific level of care. So you need to think about farrier cost, or whether or not you're going to do that on your own, feed costs, shelter.
Okay, so what is farrier cost for those of us that are not into farming?
So donkeys, like horses, need hoof care. And
Okay, that's what I was thinking was the hoofs.
right, and so they need to be scheduled like every 6 weeks. So we have a farrier come out and do their hoofs.
Oh, every 6 weeks? I didn't realize it was that frequent.
It's very frequent.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And it can cost, like the cost ranges anywhere between like $60 and a couple $100, just depending on what you're getting done, how tame the donkeys are, how well they'll stand for the farrier, the availability in your area. So it can be quite costly.
Oh my God, I'm glad we didn't have to pay extra for. I do Dexter's nails, but our pug Gizmo, oh my God, he was brutal. Like, oh my God, he almost had to be sedated to get his nails done.
Oh, wow, really? And he's just a little guy.
Yeah, pugs are notorious. Like, you thought
Oh,
that he was being skinned alive. I don't know if
oh
there's
my
videos
God.
on YouTube. Type in like pug nail trim.
Oh,
The
no.
thing we discovered, so yeah, we would wrap him up in a towel and like we called it the puggy burrito. And it would take two people to hold him down and then a third person to trim them.
Poor Dexter.
It as he got older, it was better if we would do it like outside. So I'd go to the bus stop and my friend who's a groomer would trim his nails. And I would like hold him in a like a deadlock, but just the distraction of being outside and people and traffic and whatever, it was just enough to where she could do a much better actually get to his nails. But thank God Dexter doesn't seem to care at all. So I don't know. He doesn't seem to bother him. So, anyways, okay, back to the show.
Things like that.
Oh, volume. Hold on.
Harnesses,
There we go.
food, toys, snacks. Our donkeys need a lot of snacks. So
So do I.
Number 3 is one that if you're
Me
already
too.
living on a homestead, you already have a farm, you already have livestock, then this one you guys probably know. But for anyone who's just getting started, it's definitely worth considering depending on your lifestyle. Number 3 is, what about vacations? Who's going to take care of your animals? I can assure you it gets a lot more challenging to travel and to be gone even just for dinner one night when you've got livestock. So number 2, the second most important thing that I think you should consider before getting donkeys is, do you need an emergency plan? Depending on where you live, there might be different types of emergencies that you might face. For instance, where we live, we're worried about a flood at times. So we want to make sure that we've got a trailer. We want to make sure that our donkeys are going to load in it. We want to make sure we've got a truck to pull it. And we want to make sure that we've got a safe location to evacuate our donkeys to should we ever need to. Hopefully we never need to use that plan, but it makes me comfortable knowing we have a plan in place. I know others that have faced fire risk, things like that. There's probably severe storms. Have you considered what you might need to do in your area if there's ever an emergency? And do you have the resources that you need to deal with that emergency? Number 1, and this is by far, if you only take one thing away from this video, I think this is the most critical thing you should consider before getting donkeys. And it's, what's your legacy plan? Do you know how long donkeys live? How old are you? Thanks you guys for sticking with us. I wanted to show you this little baby. So he was just born early this morning. His mom was just keeping an eye out for him. All of the donkeys wanted to go see what was going on. This little baby was just born and they wanted to go meet him. He's so cute.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Yeah, new little baby.
Babies on the farm. Have you named him yet?
If you guys like these videos, then please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to ring that bell so you're notified when we release a new video. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, make sure you to ring her bell.
Dig safe.
Was that out loud? That is a great video and lots of great info on, just stuff you don't normally really think about, especially those of us that don't have livestock, have never had livestock. Gizmo was my first dog I ever had. He passed away last winter, and then we ended up with Dexter. We had a cat when I was a kid. That was about it. When we got married, my husband had some fish. We live in a townhouse. So pretty much, one small dog is, all we are, handling right now. So thank you so much for coming in, Pam. Hopefully you're still here to say goodbye to. So yeah, the question, how long do they live?
Oh, so donkeys can live like 30 to 50 years.
Wow.
So we adopted them. And part of the reason I made that video, I kind of want to make a series on it, is when I wanted donkeys, I just wanted them. I thought they were cute. I loved them. Let's get them, right? And then I started learning all the things about them. I probably should have done a little more research. It wouldn't have changed my mind, though. They're awesome. But like, they require a lot more care than horses, and it's pretty specific care that I just didn't realize. Like, you have to have hard stand area, things like that. They live 50 years. And you have to make sure that you have adequate space. So, like, they can't just go out and graze in the grass like a cow or a horse can. You have to be really careful about the grass that they're eating, their diet. You have to get specific hay.
Oh,
And so
wow.
there's really a lot to their care that I didn't anticipate. So I thought if I could kind of share that information with others and you could think about it before you get animals, that might be helpful. Certainly, I would have planted more trees first so that there was more shade, or I would have built a bigger barn first. I didn't expect that I would get a pregnant donkey.
Right.
We-
Surprise.
Yeah, we were actually adopting. We knew that we had to get two because they need to have a buddy.
Right.
So we had well, at least initially we had planned to get two donkeys. We found two babies that were rescued from a kill pen. And so it was the two babies and their mom. And so I just didn't have the heart to take the babies without the mom. So I said, okay, I'll take all
Yeah.
three. And then she came pregnant with another, and then that's how we ended up with Gunner.
So they're all family then. It's the
Right.
mom and her 3 babies. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So,
apparently-
I mean, you obviously don't eat, there's not a meat animal. So they are just strictly a pet, right? Like a horse would be.
Yeah, they're strictly a pet. So on our homestead, we have a lot of animals, but most of our animals are all rescues except for the birds. We don't
Hi,
eat
Hudson.
any of the animals.
Okay.
Hi, Hudson.
So are you vegetarian or you just don't want to do that?
We're not. We
You
just don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that either. I know.
Yeah, all of our animals are just rescues and pets.
Just rescues and pets. So it's like a
Try to get-
refuge.
Kind of, yeah.
Very nice. But you have chickens and stuff, so you get eggs and
We have chickens and we eat the eggs. Yeah, we
So,
get
at
plenty
least
of
someone's
eggs.
earning their keep.
Yeah, all the eggs you can handle.
That's awesome. Welcome in, Hudson. Thank you so much for popping in. I'm just going to drop her link down in the chat if you guys haven't checked her channel out yet. That is Mayfield Ranch. Yeah, I think G Mama's getting some donkeys. I think that's what I got out of this. She can put them right in her grow tent, I think.
Everyone should get donkeys.
That's awesome. So temperament-wise, like the ones they have at the park, they're kind of grumpy. I will admit. They're a little cranky. I don't know if it's just, they're not living out on a ranch. I don't know if it's just, I don't know, or maybe that's just me interpreting their.
I don't know. Mine are a little bit, so they're definitely, they make their own choices. Like they don't just do what you ask them to do unless they trust you. So it does take a little while to establish that level of trust. And for me, I spent a lot of time with them, even just outside, hanging out with them in their yard, petting them, giving them treats, of course, grooming them. But just, they really need to establish that trust before they're going to listen to you. Otherwise, like if you try to lead them or you try to train them, kind of like a horse, they will just put the brakes on, stand there, and don't want to participate in it with you. And they don't forget.
So they're the stubborn part of the mule.
Right.
That's what they bring to the table.
But
Horses bring the ability to work, and the donkeys are bringing the stubbornness. Hey, welcome into Garden of Eden. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in, Soil Peep. Good to have you in tonight. Sorry to interrupt. What were you? Yeah. So
I was just gonna say, once you work with them though, and you get them trained, because I didn't know what I was doing. I actually hired a trainer to come train me so that I could train the donkeys. And
oh wow,
it ended up working out really well. So once you work with them and you get them trained, they'll do just anything for you. They'll work. Like if you hook up, some like a plow or something to them, they'll work. Like they're happy to do what you ask them to do as long as they trust you. Like mine will load in the trailer. I've got maybe one of the videos on there. It shows it, but Mama will hop right in we have like a 40-foot container where we store the feed. She walks right in, turns around. So they're not too fearful once they trust you, but it just does take a while initially to establish that trust. But they're really good. Like every time you pull in a driveway, we have a long driveway to our back property. And as soon as that gate opens, they're all standing up the fence, like waiting for their crackers. And they expect you to come say hi. Like they don't want to be forgotten.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. They sound like dogs. Yeah. I know that whole puppy. Well, I was just wondering, like temperament wise, when I'd asked on that question, like I was like, are they like a horse? Are they like goats? Like goats are crazy.
No,
goats are kind of crazy, but
they're not quite the handful that goats are.
Okay, yeah,
They're
goats are.
much calmer. At
They're
least
calm.
our goats are a little Wile E. Coyote. They're into everything.
Oh, all goats are, from what I've seen. I don't have a goat, but we call Dexter the goat because he like chews through everything. He can escape everything. He is like the goat of the dog world. I'm just gonna say hi to some of the
Oh, hi, Chris.
newbies coming in. So we got CB Huga Homestead. We got Chris and Larry popped in. So and then I think Cape Cod's back. He's going in and out. Um, yeah, that's just really cool. Yeah, I don't really know. I've been learning so much about animals from when I joined YouTube and I started watching gardening channels, right? And so then a lot of gardeners have, chickens, right? So,
Yeah.
You learn a bit about chickens and everything. And then I started watching more of these homesteading channels, and all of a sudden, all these people have all these different animals, and I'm in love with Lisa's Kuni Kuni Pigs. Grant is absolutely hilarious. That little guy is so funny. He is such a little trickster, and he cracks me up. But I'm loving, you see animals at the zoo, you see them on TV, you see them at the petting zoo, but just to kind of get kind of this more in-depth knowledge and understanding of the different breeds and the different, like, I had no idea there's chickens, right? And then people are like, oh, well, all these layers, like, what? Like, I had
all
no
the
idea there
breeds.
were this many kinds of chickens, and they all have all these different, and then there's geese and ducks and like guineas, and like there's just so many animals out there, and so many things that are, more mainstream and then more geared toward homesteading. And then there's heirloom breeds.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, mind is overwhelmed. Hey, Nicole. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. She's saying hi to Nicole, and she's saying hi to G Mama and everybody else. They're all saying hi to Doody. Howdy doody, because we're talking about farm animals now. Yeehaw!
Yeah, speaking of farm animals, I don't know if you guys can hear in the background, I've got some baby chicks, and they're in the house. And
can
they're
hear the
chirping
chicks.
away, hopping on top of the box over there, trying to get my attention. It's like a zoo around here.
There are 5 bazillion different breeds. Exactly. And people were like, exactly, I should say. Yeah, and people were like all the different layers and colors of the eggs and this and that. I'm just like, I have no idea.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
then,
kind of went
off.
down like
Oh
a
no.
YouTube rabbit hole to get all the different breeds of chickens. I wanted all the different kind of eggs. So we've got.
Well, you have to have all the colors. Like, why
Right.
wouldn't you want all the colors?
Right.
Because you got to get that big Costco size egg carton, and you got to do your ombre eggs on there,
That's how
right?
we
Like,
do
doesn't
it.
everyone
Yeah.
have to do that?
I think so. I think it's a law.
I think it's a law. Yeah, I'm like, I want it. Mine are just weights. Boring Costco eggs. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I like just seeing the passion and the, the interest and things that everyone shows to their animals, and the amount of work, like, especially for people that are still working full time outside the house, that, farming, ranching isn't their full-time job, to have to go to a day job and then come home and take care of the animals, or before and after, like, just absolutely. I have to move everything because they decided to paint the apartment building. Oh my God. Oh no. All right, Hudson. Good luck. Hopefully they don't spray paint your stuff. All right. Thank you so much for popping in. Anyways, don't forget to hit the like button on your way out, and have fun with that. Once you open the chicken door, it's a whole new world. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, I don't know. Danny's I don't think she can hear me anymore because she's putting the kids to bed that she's babysitting for. But yeah. How many chickens is she up to now? She was only getting 3.
Oh.
She was only getting 3.
Has she heard about
there was a
chicken
4th, and then I think we're at 6 now. I don't know. I can't remember where she was at last I left. She's doing chicken. I have tomato math. I admit to tomato math.
Okay. It's the same.
Exactly. So in my garden, like, if you've seen, I'll put the picture back up so you can see pretty much my whole garden in this one picture. Where's the camera? I lost the control thing for the camera. There it is. Yeah, I gotta just change the picture. So here is pretty much my whole backyard. So where I'm sitting right now is kind of like where the deck ends.
Okay.
And it just goes up the hill. And then this is my, wrong side. This is my property line right at the edge of the plants.
Okay.
So that grass that you see here is my one neighbor, and then the shed is at the second neighbor. So they're very
Oh,
narrow lanes. So here's the yard. I'll duck out of the way a bit. So here's the yard. And then from sorry, I'm getting like a wrist cramp. That's really weird. So like from here towards the house, I have the deck, and I think the deck is what, 14 feet. And then on the side of the deck, I have the tomatoes. And that is where I plant my indeterminate tomatoes, because I can grow I do the string like you do, and I
okay.
tie it to my gazebo, and then they
Oh,
can kind of
perfect.
go, and then they grow up on top of the gazebo. They get crazy. They'll be like 15, 20 feet long by
I
the time
know.
they're done
Isn't
at the
it
end of the
wild
summer.
how
They're
big they get?
absolutely insane. Homesteading hustle. Welcome in. I don't know if I actually, did I welcome you in, or did I just talk about your comments? I don't know if I actually gave you an official welcome. I think she's at 6 now. Yeah. My husband said 10. I found 20. Yeah, 40 it is. Exactly. I know.
Yes.
It's scary. Yeah. So I have room along there. I have 12 grow bags that
Okay.
barely fit. So I have room for 12 indeterminates. And then I do have a few like dwarf tomatoes that I'm trying, and those I can grow in either containers, or I can actually put them out kind of on the hill with a tomato cage, and they get from anywhere from, I think, like 1.5 feet to 4 feet is kind of the range I have of dwarf tomatoes this year.
So you're doing a lot in a pretty small space.
So
'Cause
I started 130 tomatoes.
oh, perfect. That's chicken
Like
math, tomato math.
like you do. Yeah. And so I'm starting all these varieties, and then they're like, so how much room do you have? I'm like, well, I have room for 12. And then, but I have the tower garden. So in my tower garden, I don't know if you saw that video.
Hmm.
I have 4 in that one container. I put 4 of the Tiny Tim
Okay.
tomatoes, and then in the other one, I have a gold nugget, which is supposed to get 15 to 18 inches tall.
Okay, I haven't tried that before.
Never tried it. No, I haven't tried any of okay. So I think I had like 20 different variety. I can't remember how many varieties I did this year. I've only ever had the mortgage lifter and the Tiny Tim. Everything
Okay.
else was just brand new. I got them in seed swaps, or I ordered. You did, okay. Just making sure. I'm like, I don't want to forget to welcome people in. Yeah. So I don't even know. Did I count my varieties? I think I did. I think I had 12 varieties. I made a list.
Well, hopefully you did a better job labeling yours than I did with mine. Every
Okay.
year I say, oh, I want to try these. I'm going to label them.
So I labeled them, but I had like just like random sticks that had names on them that were loose. And
Uh-oh.
then a few of them, I potted them up into the DIY grow bags, and I was like, oh, these are all the same variety, so I don't need to label them because I know what they are, and I'll label them later.
I know that. I
And
know
I
how
did
that
label
works.
them later. And then I potted up a few more later of a different variety. And yeah, so mortgage lifter is a tomato. Yes. It's got a cute little story to it. Radiator Charlie was the name of this guy who owned a car radiator shop at the top of this hill, and people would come in, and he would work on it. Now, this story, I think it took place back in the 20s or the 30s, and he got this variety of tomatoes, and he sold a bunch of seedlings, and he was able to pay off his mortgage by selling all of these tomato seedlings. So this is why it's called the mortgage lifter. No problem, Miss Andale. And it is just a classic big red tomato. I actually have a video up on my channel when I got mine last year, and I weighed it, and it weighed in at 1.5 pounds. It was a nice, big, juicy tomato. And what I liked about the mortgage lifter tomato is that it's a big, huge beefsteak, but it produced early.
Oh.
Because I also was growing some Brandywine tomatoes. And okay, it wasn't black crim, but it claimed to be black crim. And
is that the one you had started in the house?
No, this was last year, and it ended up looking like a very I'll send you a picture. It was a very slightly obscene looking tomato. Yeah, so it definitely was not black krim. And so I never even got to taste my pink brandy one ripe because I got blight hit and like a late frost, and they never ripened in time. So I got I got the moneymaker. I got tomatoes off of my the pink Berkeley tie-dye, which was another large one. But that mortgage lifter produced early, it produced fast. I got the most like big tomatoes. And so I find here, like I'm in a zone 5B, we can get a frost anywhere starting in like late September. My average last frost date's like October 15th, but it can come earlier, it can come later. And if we have a cool summer, like the next 2 weeks, we're going to be like low 70s, high 60s. So, just sometimes those larger tomatoes, they just have a much harder time maturing.
Yeah, you need a little longer.
You need a longer growing season, which is why I start them early. But just sometimes if the weather's just not hot enough for them here. And then some years we are blazing hot, right? Like it's just kind of the heat is all over the map. We do this a lot. Like I know a lot of other places, like their heat goes like this, right? But like Tuesday we were 91. And today we had a high of 71.
We kind of skipped spring here. We went from like
We
70
go up and down.
something to 107.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. No.
It was ridiculous.
No. No. Are you humid there though? Do you have a lot of humidity?
Long season though, so we can pick tomatoes almost right before Christmas.
Oh
we can
my
still
gosh.
get tomatoes.
Well, you know what? We had a really, really late frost last year, and I could have harvested tomatoes into November if I hadn't had the blight and pulled them all out. Because I harvested my peppers late. Like I had a nice late long pepper harvest. Yeah. And Nicole's freaking out. She's down in Texas. So.
The Texas weather should be hotter than here.
Yeah, I would think so, but I don't know if they've been that hot yet. Now, do you have a lot of humidity there in California?
No.
Northern California? No, you're pretty dry, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's back to normal temperatures now. It just was all of a sudden, and we kind of skipped spring. But you kind of need to ease into 107.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Yeah, we are very humid here where we're at. And that was one thing, like I'd grown up in Oregon, right? And I was just like, it gets hot, but in the summer, it doesn't matter how hot it is in the summer, it still cools off at night,
Yeah.
And so like we do that here still, like most of our evenings are still, we drop down. But I think that's a lot of times why there are certain plants that can take the summer heat. They're like, well, we can take the heat here in the summer. Why can't, they take the heat, in the south or whatever. And it's like, yeah, because we drop down at night. So they get a bit of a break. And
yeah, they get a little break.
Southern plants don't get that. Oh.
Oh, okay. I thought
the humidity.
All right. Well, you guys have the humidity though, so.
Oh, yes. I don't know if you're familiar with Nicole Smith Gardening, but she does lovely garden tours of her potager garden every week. And you get to watch her hair grow.
Yeah, with the humidity. No, I was checking out her flowers.
Yeah, she's got so much blooming. I'm like,
both of you guys on your channel. Both of you guys, your flowers are just spectacular.
I don't have much.
Come over and do my flowers.
I took pictures tonight of my lupin. So it's crazy. So this picture is from like 2 days ago and there's nothing on it. And right now there's probably 10 blooms of pink on this plant right here now. Like they came out of nowhere. I think that heat we had and then it rained the next day and then boom. And then my lilac is showing out right now. And my peonies are ready to pop. I have a couple that are almost in marshmallow stage. I'm so excited. So this, no, I cannot figure out which side to point to. Because everything's reversed. This one here is chock full of buds. And the one that's like basically right where I'm sitting is chock full of buds. And the one in the front. But then I have two other baby ones that I transplanted well, the one in the front was from 2 years ago, and the one in the back, another little tiny one, was from last summer. So I don't know when I'll see blooms on those, but probably not for a couple years, I guess. And I'm not sure if the one in the front is just if it's planted too deep or not, because it got mulched, and so now I'm like, and then, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be my problem, but bah, ha, ha, ha. She's laughing at us, yes.
Oh, they're so pretty. I love all the flowers.
Yes. Oh, you can drop your link too, Nicole, if you want. If you want to drop a few links, you can. We will hit 100 degrees here where I am at in Mountains, Arizona.
No, I've been out where Chris is. I've been to that area, and it was hot when I was there.
So ironically, the same grandmother that lived just south of you in Gridley actually ended up moving to Cottonwood, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So I think Chris and Larry aren't too far from that area, if I recall. I don't know.
Yeah, my sister
Arizona's
actually
Arizona, right?
lived over there in at least the same county where Chris is. So not in Prescott, but it was a little, I think about 15 minutes north of that.
Okay, so my parents they had bought property in Prescott actually,
Oh, okay.
to be closer to my grandmother, and then they sold it, and then they moved back to Florida where they had been previously, and then they sold that to move back to Alaska,
All over the map.
like you do, when you retire. You sell out of Florida and move to Alaska when you retire. Said no one ever.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So my parents had bought some property in Prescott. So I got more familiar with Prescott realty. I can't even say the word, because of course they were at my house in here in Toronto area when they were selling it. And so I had to send emails and stuff back and forth with the realtor. I was like, I don't even know anything about this property. But yeah.
Oh, and we're calling it Prescott. I think it's Prescott. When we went over there, I went with my sister when she was buying property, and I kept calling it Prescott. And the lady told me, no, it's like Prescott like biscuit.
Prescott like biscuit. Prescott. Oh,
Chris,
okay.
I wonder if that's how Chris says it. Chris, am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, they're saying Prescott.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's funny how there's a town just north of us that's spelled Erin.
Okay.
And so people that are not from there call it Erin. But people that live there call it Erin.
Oh, I would call it
So
Erin.
you can always tell if, you had said Erin?
I would have said Erin.
Erin, yeah. So that's how it's spelled. But everyone calls it Erin, yeah. Okay, so Prescott. Oh, wow. I guess my parents couldn't move there because they couldn't say it properly. Okay. There is a gardening center in Prescott that has a good YouTube channel. I think it's Walter's Gardens or Waters Gardens. Well, is it Walter's? Walter's Gardens is like the grower for Proven Winners, right? I thought they were on the East Coast more, Walter's Gardens, but I could be wrong.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I haven't seen that one.
Because, they grow. Okay, it's Waters Garden. Okay. From the local Prescott person. Well, that's fun to say, Prescott person. I follow Walter's Gardens. But yeah, I think they're East Coast more, I don't know, Virginia or Maryland. I don't know, somewhere in there. And they grow all of Proven Winners perennials. There you go. Thank you, Nicole. I'll have to check that out. Waters Garden. That's hard to say, Waters Garden. It just sounds, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to go check it out too. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Because that's what I need.
More.
I need another channel to watch on YouTube.
I feel the same way. But it's so awesome meeting all these people and getting to see what everybody's doing. Now I just need more time to watch YouTube instead of make YouTube videos.
Yeah, and it keeps me out of the bars. Well, and it was so much easier in the middle of winter to keep up on everyone's channels,
Yeah.
Because I had nothing else to do. But now it's I'm missing lives and stuff, evening lives. So I understand if you miss my live and you catch a little bit of this on the replay, or you just come in on the replay and click the like button and leave a comment, whatever. I get it. We're outside now. The weather's nice. Last night we were out. Kids are out playing ball and, working in the garden. And because especially when it's hot out, it's nice to be going out at the end of the... Oh, there we go. Oh, 2 T's. Oh, just to make it difficult. All right.
Well, I think especially now with the gardens, right? If you're not out there every couple of days, you can't keep up.
Exactly.
I'm going out after work and the squash plants, I swear they've grown 2 feet in 2 days.
I'm excited. I'm growing for the first time ever lemon cucumber.
Oh, okay.
And I started a sugar baby watermelon last year and I planted it out and then it disappeared.
I've got 2 sugar babies. Last year I got a couple of them, but I didn't have really good luck. So we'll see how I do with it this year.
Oh, you're not inspiring me with confidence there. So I
I
know
did
that they
good
need
with
a
the
lot of
bigger ones.
room, and they need, hey Katrina, welcome in. Thank you so much for popping in. Um, so what I think I'm gonna do with the watermelon, because they need room to do their thing, and I don't have room. I bought one of these raised beds, and actually I don't know if you can see it in the picture. It'll be over here. Nope, it's not in the shot. It's about 2 feet across and about 8 inches high, and it's like a fabric. It's like a fabric grow bag. It's called a raised bed. It's from the dollar
Okay.
store. It's $4, and
Oh, good.
it's a nice decent size, right? So I have other stuff growing in it. I grew my kohlrabi and some greens in it last year, so I got a couple more of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with soil, and I'm going to put it over on my neighbor's property. We've started maintaining her yard for her. She's not able to get out in the backyard and mow it at all, so she
Okay.
hires my daughter to mow it. And like, if you'd seen her grass, so this is the neighbor right next door to us grass, and then hers is starts about here and goes over. So my
Okay.
husband brought it back last year. So we got rid of the weeds. He put down like 16 bags of soil,
Oh,
grass
wow.
seed. We went to Costco. We got our hose and a thing that
Mower?
sprays water that goes like this.
Oh, a
Sprinkler.
sprinkler.
Sprinkler. Yeah, sounds like
We're doing charades.
we're doing charades now. Yes, it does this. It does this. We got a sprinkler, and then we got like another hose with a, so we gave her the bill for all of the supplies. Um, and then there was one patch that was really bad, so we got a piece of sod that we cut to stick there. We didn't charge her for our labor, but for the supplies and the cost of that. And then she's been hiring my daughter to mow the lawn for her. So that's been really nice, because it's, giving her a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of spending money, when we go for bubble tea, and just, a little bit of work ethic. And the added benefit is we have a really nice big grass, and
Yeah,
it's
it looks great back
absolutely
there.
beautiful now.
Yeah, it does look
He
good.
did such an amazing job with the grass. I did not believe it could come back from where it was at. Like, it was just all weeds. And along her fence line, which you can't see, the neighbor the previous year before was like trying to dig out burdock. So we have, I don't know if you've ever seen burdock grow. Um, it's very similar growth habit to rhubarb. It's these giant leaves, and the root system can be like 3 feet long on these. It's a
Oh,
dock, right?
wow.
So, and it's I cringe when I see people buying the seeds from Baker Creek to grow for medicinal uses, because this thing here is so invasive in our area, and to get rid of it is an absolute nightmare. And people are telling me, "Oh, you should grow some. You should grow." Oh, because see this fence here? Behind me is the big CN rail line.
Okay.
I can literally go back there and I could harvest like 50 million burdock root like that if I wanted to. So I'm not growing it in my garden. If I feel the need to try and make some kind of a whatever you do with it, I'll just go dig some up from back there. So no, thank you.
Go forward
So
some.
I'll go foraging. Hey, welcome in Creekside Maples. Is this Tony or Joni or both of you? Welcome in. A fellow Canadian tonight. A fellow Canadian in the house. So,
So, Rochelle,
yeah.
are you going to be able to use that space? And can you expand your garden and start using some of that space with some containers?
Okay. So, do you see these plants up here?
Mm-hmm.
Those are ours. So these were shrubs that were in our yard that we were like, yeah, they're too big for our yard now. They've outgrown their space. And there was one here that you can just see the stub. It was this, I called it the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, because it was like the saddest looking you've ever seen. I don't know. It never took off. The ones up here that we planted at the same time are huge. But that one was just absolutely terrible. So yeah, all of these, there were like 3 or 4 big shrubs. We actually dug this section out at the top of their hill and just kind of planted them across both of their yards.
Oh, perfect.
And then a bed underneath here. Oh, and this is right here is where I planted like 10 broccoli plants last week.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see how they do. This part gets some afternoon sun, weirdly, because it depends on how these trees behind it are. It's very odd sunlight up there. The rest of it is pretty much shade. So last year I divided a bunch of hostas I've got up in there. I divided my spiderwort. I put a few other like shady stuff in there, and it took really well. There were a ton of weeds, a ton of garlic mustard up there because it's coming from behind under the fence, right? So,
Okay.
and then
You're,
along her fence last year, I did plant kind of a few leftovers. I planted some peppers and
your
a few other
extras.
things. So, yeah, I'm gonna be planting more. I talked to her and she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. She loves to be able to look out and have a nice, beautiful yard. And
Oh, that's
honestly, the
good.
guy between us, he's an older gentleman who never goes out back. Used to like maybe mow once a year.
Okay.
And sometimes like it would be too tall for the lawnmower, so he would be out there like with the machete, like
Oh,
chopping
wow.
down the thistles and the weeds. So once we started maintaining her yard last year, like my husband had just kind of slowly every year gone a little bit wider with the
A
mower,
little further.
a little further, a little further. And so then he ended up having like this mohawk of grass like down the middle, just like this landing strip, I guess we could call it. And it just was not good. And then we're like, especially with Gizmo and stuff walking around, to keep the ticks and bugs and, you know, stuff like that down. So now he just mows this guy's yard basically just to kind of as a precautionary barrier for weeds and everything between both of our yards. He doesn't do like down at the bottom of the hill in front of the house, but just
Okay.
kind of this part. So it's nice. I do not regret not having a fence there at all because they're never out in their backyard. And then it feels much more open. And then, the dogs and everyone else has a long, oh, we got someone leaving. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. Enjoy your errand running. And thank you so
Bye.
much for stopping by. Good to have you. Yeah, so just, it gives us more space, right? And so, yeah, I mean, honestly, if I asked him, I could dig up his whole yard and plant plants, right?
Well, there you go.
He used to,
That's next summer's plan.
well, he used to be a farmer back home in Trinidad. And so he moved here and he's like, yeah, I don't want to be a farmer anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to have anything to do with that. But he enjoys looking out and seeing it. And, I'll give him peppers and, stuff from the garden and stuff. It's just for some of it too, it's like, I don't want to, overstep, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
like,
sure when he gets the veggies, though, they appreciate
yeah,
it.
2 yards over, like I know her more, like we're friends and stuff, and so
Okay.
I feel a little more comfortable. And she wants it to look nice. So last year, I had a few. I did some baskets for her on the patio. So I'm thinking, because she has like this concrete, like the squares, like the patio, and then there's some
So,
rock along the side that's I gotta go weed. And so I'm thinking if I just kind of put this raised bed thing on the corner there, then it can kind
oh,
of just take over, kind of part of the patio area and just do its thing. So
well, that's a good idea. Now,
it'll
you
be
said you
exciting.
planted some broccoli. Is it all season broccoli, or is the temperature mild enough there that it'll just do well?
I have no idea. I've never grown it before.
Oh, okay.
I got the seeds. I won the seeds from Nikki at OCD Everyday Life of an OCD-ish Chick, great little
Okay.
YouTube channel. And I won the seeds, and so I put them in my winter sowing containers, and I had like 150% germination rate. Because I swear to God, I did not put that many seeds in there.
They're so
And
tiny, it's easy
they're
to get
so
extra.
tiny. Yeah. Oh, have to run to all right. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for popping in. And
Bye.
thank
Thanks
you
for
for
joining, Chris.
correcting me on Prescott, because now I will sound, official when I talk about it. Because it comes up so often in conversation. Oh, but I love Sedona. Am I saying that one right? No.
I think so.
Oh, my neighbor was funny. She used to call the Toyota Tucson. And I was like, a
She called it
what?
what?
A Tucson.
A
And I'm
Toyota.
like, yeah. And I'm like, you mean a Tucson?
Okay.
And she's like, oh.
I wasn't even making that connection. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah. I remember the Providence. My seeds are like my babies. Well, that one I especially remember because I had never planned on growing broccoli, and then I won the seeds, and I was like, all right, I'll try it. So yeah, so I planted some up here. I read, yeah, they're a cool crop, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they said sometimes you can get away with them in a shadier spot in warmer.
Okay.
And who knows? They're saying we're gonna get a cooler, wetter summer, so who knows? Who knows? You know what? If they don't broccoli up, you can eat the leaves, right?
Yeah, you
So
can.
I can still eat the leaves. And I was kind of hoping, because we have a bunch of bunnies that and animals that come here. I
Oh,
was kind
okay.
of hoping that maybe they would just be like, oh, look, it's a little broccoli over here. And then they'd stay over there and leave, some of my other stuff alone. I don't know. But
Well,
yeah,
we'll see.
my arugula did really well in the winter sowing containers. So well, in fact, that it is flowering.
All right.
And I hadn't even planted it out yet. So let me know if you need any arugula seeds, because yeah,
Eager.
we're bolting already, but they're pretty, so I don't mind. I'm actually going to just plant them out kind of in a mass and use them in flower bouquets, because that was kind of my original like gardening for 2020 was all about cut flowers, right? I wasn't even planning on growing that much food, just because food is, I'm in a huge city, right? Like Toronto, city of Toronto, we are a suburb in Brampton, but like the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, is close to 10 million people. So, yeah, it's crazy. And we have a amazing market just up the street from me. It's an Asian grocery store, and I can get pretty much any kind of plant, vegetable, fruit, no matter how exotic they have it there. There's like 10 different kinds of bok choy. I can get
Oh,
like 4 or
wow.
5 different kinds of, yams and sweet potatoes and like everything, right?
Oh, that's
They
awesome.
they have a lot of Asian food, East Asian and Caribbean. And then the other grocery store we have, Oceans, caters more to Chinese Asian food. And then dotted throughout the city all over, we have a lot of Indian grocery stores.
Oh, okay. So
So,
you've got a
like just
variety then to
the
choose
variety
from.
of everything, the variety, I would say Brampton's probably one of the most culturally diverse cities probably in the world. Like our street alone, basically every continent except South America, um, and not a lot of Aussies, but pretty much everyone else. We have a really, really nice mix and blend of people, and so we can get pretty much any kind of food, any kind of ingredients.
That's awesome.
Like, when they're in season, I can go and I can get gin up at the grocery store. It's expensive, some of those, but they'll have different, like 4 or 5 different kinds of guava and lychee and like literally everything. I did a video tour of it, and I just have not gotten around to edit it because the
Okay.
sound in there was really, really obnoxious. Like the air conditioning running and everything, so I'm gonna have to do a voiceover on it, and I'm gonna have to sit down and take time to be like, okay, as I'm talking about what everything is, so I can explain it properly. But yeah, you can go in, there's like 6 different kinds of eggplant,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
it's like, huh? And the first time I walked into the other one, Oceans, I had considered myself fairly worldly wise, bit of a foodie. My parents ate all kinds of stuff growing up. We ate a lot of Thai food and Indian food and Vietnamese food and Mexican food, of course, and lots of different things. And I walked in and I looked around, and it's this huge produce department, and I was like, I've never even seen like 80% of the produce in here.
Wow, that's amazing
There
that
were
you have that.
greens, there were fruits, there were things that I had never even heard of. Some things I'd heard of, but I'd never seen. Like last week, they had fresh durian for sale in the store, which is like the world's stinkiest fruit.
Is that the big one?
No, that's jackfruit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they have jackfruit there. You can buy it whole or you can buy it sections by the
Okay.
pound or cut up or whatever. They have so many different kinds of bananas.
Wow.
So many different kinds of bananas and plantains. So yeah, the variety is just amazing. So for me, it's like I don't really need to grow some of these varieties that other
Right.
people want to grow because they can't get it at the stores, like for herbs and stuff, right? The only thing I can't get here, because there's like hardly any Mexican food here at all.
Oh,
Um, I know. And from
I
someone who
couldn't
grew
live
up in
there. That's my
Oregon,
favorite.
I know. I grew up on Mexican food, and I'm just like, oh my God. We have one restaurant in town, but it's very bougie. Like
Hmm.
it's expensive, and it's these fancy little tacos, and it has like cactus salad and stuff on it. And I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
want my chicken enchilada with rice and beans. Right? Um, yeah. So if I want something like that, like we have to like go cross the border and go to Buffalo and go to like, just a traditional Mexican restaurant. We used to have one here that was very good, and it was like that. And it went out of business. There's just not, that's like the only, country that is not well represented in our area at all. There's just hardly any Mexican immigrants here. They're just not in
Oh,
this
that's one thing in our area. There's
part.
just amazing Mexican restaurants all over.
Well, see, that's the thing. It was funny. So we went back because I was telling my husband that, and he's like, "Okay." And then we went back to visit my parents in Salem after we got married, it was like '06 or something, and we were like sitting there and we're like driving by, and I'm at a red light, and I'm like, I can see 4 Mexican restaurants from here. I'm like, there are more Mexican restaurants at this red light than there are in like all of the GTA.
That's
Right?
interesting.
Yes, you guys got all of it, and you're holding it. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I got it. Um, and I feel kind of guilty complaining about not having any Mexican food here because I can literally walk and get Indian food, Trinidadian food, Jamaican food, Filipino food, shawarma, which is one of my absolute favorite foods. If you have not ever had a shawarma, it is the world's perfect food.
What is it?
It is a Middle Eastern, I don't know if you've seen it like on the spit. So it's like chicken that gets put on the spit and it goes around on a grill. It's similar to a gyro.
Okay.
But it's this marinated chicken, and then it goes around on the spit and it gets crisped up, and then they shave it off and they cook it up on a grill, and then they put it in a pita, a big pita, and it's with hummus and tzatziki and garlic sauce, and then you get your cabbage slaw in there, and my favorite, the pickled turnips, and then more garlic sauce, and then they roll this thing up, and it is just like, oh my god, it is heaven in your mouth. It's like a Middle Eastern taco basically.
Okay.
But it's just, the flavors are absolutely delicious. It's so good. So yeah, look for a shawarma in your area because
Okay, look, I've never seen
it
anything
is
like
really,
that.
really good. So gyro, it's similar to gyro, but it's got a lot more in it. And my husband goes for basically just the meat. But for me, it's that combination of, so it's usually the, I like the purple cabbage salad and the green cabbage salad. So their slaw is quite different than like traditional coleslaw. The Middle Eastern slaw is oil based, and
Okay.
it's more simple and vinegary. So basically you just kind of chop up the cabbage, and you bruise it. You scrunch it with your hands to kind of bruise it and tenderize it, and then you put some salt, and then you oil and vinegar and a few other seasonings or whatever. So it's a very different style of slaw, but think of it like a pickle, kind of like a pickled.
So you're
You know how
making
like you
it
get,
sound really good. You're selling
like
me
the
on it.
pickled. Well, it's like the pickled, onions and pickled veggies you get at the Mexican restaurant that you put on stuff. Oh yeah, she's drilling. Sorry.
We just need to find the restaurant now.
Now you just need to find a shawarma restaurant. So they
Nicole,
should.
are there any of those in Texas?
Yeah, there should be her. I'll type it into the chat if you haven't heard of it. It's spelled exactly like it sounds, and it is heaven. And if you are lucky, you will find a restaurant that has the potatoes that go with it. And so they make, my daughter calls them the yummy potatoes. So
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it right now, what they call the potatoes, but basically it's like potatoes that are deep fried and then tossed with seasonings. I have a great recipe I make at home with it. And it's basically, you put oil and garlic and hot chili and coriander or cilantro. A lot of people call it coriander here. And cumin seed.
Yeah.
And then you just toss the fried potatoes in it, and then you drizzle it with garlic sauce. It's called toom, and it's kind of like an aioli, but it's basically like just like 50 million cloves of garlic and oil in a
Perfect.
jar, and then you blend it up, and it's amazing.
That sounds really good.
Yes, so you got to try it. And it feels, I can kind of trick myself into feeling like it's kind of healthy because you're getting a lot of veggies in there, right? And pickled food is good for you.
I'd go with
So,
that.
yeah. So shawarma, yeah. So I have to say, like, I can go get my patties, I can go get my samosas, I can go get my shawarma. So I'm not deprived, as you can tell.
I do.
I am not
okay
deprived
myself.
of food in any way. Do not feel too bad for me. So yeah, when I have Mexican food, I pretty much have to make it myself. So
Yeah, we've been making a lot more ourselves because we're trying to eat lower
yeah.
carb. So I'm trying
Oh,
to modify the recipes, but
yeah, that's fun.
it's good though. We're making some pretty good stuff.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to one of my favorite uses for zucchini,
What's
and
that?
that is a zucchini quesadilla.
Okay.
It's very simple, and you just grill up. You just slice it up and grill it and toss some seasonings, and then you throw it on a corn tortilla with cheese, and it is delicious. It's deceptively delicious. Like, I never dreamed it would taste as good as it did. I tried it once and I was like, oh my God, but you have to use the corn
Okay.
because the corn tortilla adds its own little. So, yeah, I don't know if you saw my comment I posted on my community tab the day before yesterday, I think it was, or was it yesterday? No, yeah, it was Tuesday. So Kiki over at Urban Girl Gardening and Lifestyle is doing this Veggie a Day challenge collab, and I wanted to join it, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy and I have so much footage I already have to edit, and then I got so much more to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm never going to get a video out to do this. And so I ended up making a vegetarian meal the other day. So we had taco salad, and I just made that with a can of black beans, a can of Rotel, which we finally have in Canada. I don't have to go and buy a case in Buffalo and bring it back. So a can of black beans, a can of Rotel, and a package of Saison seasoning I put in for the taco salad. And then I just used the aioli and some salsa with the lettuce. And that was our taco salad. And it was heated up. Not the lettuce, the bean part. Yeah. And then I did the tacos. So we had these big pieces of chicken sitting in the fridge. And I thought, oh, I'll do just some chicken quesadillas. And then when I went to take the meat off the chicken, there was no meat on the chicken. So it was basically just bones and skin and maybe like a quarter's cup worth, if that, of chicken that was still left on there. So yeah, my husband had just put them back in for me to make stock with. I had seen the big pieces and thought there was a lot of chicken.
Dinner.
So I was like, okay, anyway, so change of plans. So I took the little bit of chicken we had and I just did some sliced onions, sliced peppers, sweet peppers, and another package of Saison seasoning, because that stuff is amazing and you can put it on anything. And I just grilled it up, and then I did the corn tortillas. I stuffed it in with some cheese, and then I pan fried them so they were nice and crispy little tacos. And they were absolutely delicious. Are you at the door? Oh, I thought someone was calling me. Sorry. Just something outside, I guess. There's so many kids in the neighborhood, and they call you. You hear mom. You're like, yes, yes. So
Just answered anyone.
I know. I'm in the neighborhood mom. Yeah, so I made these yummy little tacos, and they were delicious, and they were vegetarian. So I posted it just on the community tab as a picture. I'm like, didn't get around to doing a video, but here's what I made. And I did title it, just because it's vegetables doesn't mean it has to be healthy. So, but they were just lightly pan fried in olive oil. So it wasn't anything too
I feel
terrible.
like if it is vegetables, it is healthy. That's
It is
my
vegetable.
rule.
Well, yeah, she said she's never met an unhealthy taco. So I was like, there you go.
There you
go. Yeah. So, and then I made the absolute best refried beans I've ever tasted. About a month ago, I followed the recipe from Views on the Road.
Okay, I was gonna say, what's your secret?
So basically, it was super simple. Beef fat, lard, homemade lard was the secret.
Okay. I've made beans a few times, and it's kind of hit and miss on if they're really good. But if I put enough cumin in there, it's good.
See, this one the seasoning was basically, there was like an onion in with the beans when you cooked it.
Okay.
And salt. There wasn't like a lot of other seasoning in it. It was very just straight. But then when you cook them on, and then you heat up the cast iron skillet, and you put a bunch of lard in there, and then you fry up your onions. And then you get that nice grilled onion, and then you add in the beans and let it mash down, and then you just keep adding lard.
Okay, so that does it.
Until you get the consistency. And the lard was off of this beautiful, it was like a prime rib brisket thing that my husband had smoked, and then we brought in, and then he cut the fat layer off, and then I just slow cooked it on the stove in my Dutch oven for, I don't know, like 6 hours just to get this beef fat. So it was just this really nice flavored, smoky, delicious lard.
Well, that's a good use for it, though.
Lard is the secret to everything yummy. It is amazing. And it's like, if you believe in animal fats, it is healthy. I know there are people that don't believe in animal anything, and then they're like, no, it's not healthy. But yeah, So it was absolutely delicious. And my husband's not a huge bean person, like rice and bean, like because of course he never grew up on it. I grew up on it. My neighbor growing up was Mexican, and I lived at their house almost as much as my own. And I remember as a kid going over and helping her rolling, these giant stacks of tortillas, and we would sneak them and get in trouble, and it's so worth it. Just put some hot butter on it. Oh my God.
No, I made some bean tacos. I saw a recipe for bean tacos, no meat, and we always eat meat. But I
Yeah.
gave it a try, and Gary ate it, and he was like, "Oh, well, yeah, let's have that again. This is really good." And it was so simple and easy, but it was really good.
Nice. Yeah, I love those kind of recipes. I remember as a kid growing up, like my sister, our go-to, like if you, just a quick meal, and it was a can of kidney beans and a can of stewed tomatoes. So you kind of have that seasoning, and you heat it up, and you just put it in a tortilla with our special sauce, which was a mixture of ketchup and mayo.
Okay.
And honestly, those all just it was the quickest meal, and the flavors just all go so well together. Sometimes those are the best, just those simple, quick. Like my daughter had some friends over today, and she's like, "Can they stay for dinner?" And I was like I don't have anything prepared for dinner. Like I wasn't planning on making dinner or anything. And she's like, "I'll just make us some quesadillas." So I was like, "All right." So her and her
Well,
friends were in
if
there.
she's cooking, then they can
Yeah,
stay
she
for
was gonna
dinner.
make it, so they're in there. And then I was like, "Do you guys want salad?" So I went out and cut some lettuce for them for their salad, and I was gonna, wash it or whatever. And my daughter's like, "No, no, it's okay, I can do it." So she took it, and so she's 13 now. So her and her friends were having a great old time in the kitchen, and I was like, "Bye, I gotta go to my live."
Perfect.
And the smoke alarm hasn't gone off, so we're good.
So she's doing great.
Everything's great. I don't
I mean,
even
she's
want to
better than
know.
me. If the smoke alarm's not going off, then she's doing something right.
I don't know if I've ever made garlic bread without the smoke alarm going off. That's how you know it's done. Like,
Oh my gosh, I set off our smoke alarm during Christmas when we had people over here. And I'm just like, oh, come on, today of all days.
are you standing there fanning it with like the closest thing you can find, like
And the
trying
kids
to?
are like doing this, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is this is just cooking. Don't worry about it.
Oh, she had dinner and she's back. Well, I'm glad because we're talking food, and if you hadn't eaten yet, you'd be very hungry. What'd you have, Anne? Hope it was delicious. So then, yeah, and so then one of her friends had called her mom, and she hadn't got back to us yet on whether she could stay for dinner. And then the mom was like, "No, I've been cooking all day. Come home for dinner." So then I
Oh
ate
no.
her quesadilla. So it worked out. I hadn't planned on really eating anything. We've kind of been doing this like intermittent fasting thing.
Okay,
Basically, it just comes down to I don't cook dinner.
that's perfect.
Doesn't mean I don't always eat it.
So then, are
Just
you eating in the morning and
don't.
trying to fast later?
Yeah. So we eat
Okay.
first thing in the morning.
Okay.
We have a big breakfast, usually 2 eggs and something. So 2 eggs and, I don't know, like bagel or toast, or I do a lot of breakfast burritos myself because I love the Mexican food. So I love, a couple corn tortillas and some fresh salsa or whatever with my eggs. And then we usually eat. So it depends. Like if we go to work and we pack a lunch and we eat just a sandwich for lunch, then yes, we'll have dinner when we get home later because we'll be
Okay.
hungry. But depending on when we, sometimes we'll get home from work around 2:30, and so a lot of times we'll just have a big meal at 2 or 2:30, and then that's it,
Okay.
right? And then sometimes, like depending on what we're doing or what we had, we kind of get a little munchy. So then around like, I'll try to get anything that I'm going to eat done before 5. So
Okay.
then I might have some fruit, or like tonight I was planning on just going to have a banana, or something like that. And honestly, at first you're like, "Oh my God, I'm starving." And it gets better. And then it's like, sometimes if you get hungry, I'll just make like a nice cup of herbal tea. But then sometimes we've been doing it for about 3 years now. So I have not lost any weight. Have not lowered my blood pressure, have not noticed any benefits whatsoever from doing it. Except for I don't have to make dinner. So, um,
Yeah,
that's a
we were
win.
doing it. I was doing it, but I found it easier to do it in the morning. So try to wake up, just get through the day, be really busy. Because at dinner time, I wanted to eat.
See, well, my husband, like we work construction, right? And
Okay.
so like he's a morning person, and he's like, when we got married, I was one of those, I'll have a coffee and I'll eat something around 10,
Mm-hmm.
and he needs a big breakfast at like 7. So,
To get going.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
out
now
there
we do the
working
big
hard.
breakfast at like 7, and so I've changed my my
You've
eating
got on his
habits.
plan.
So yeah, now I get up, I'm hungry. Like I'm ready for my egg burrito and whatever else at 7 in the morning. And then, the later lunch and whatever. And then, so my daughter usually for dinner, sometimes she doesn't even have, much for dinner because she's not hungry. And you know what? If you're not hungry, don't eat. That's I mean,
I have the opposite problem. I'm always hungry.
I know, unless you're older or you have health problems or whatever, and you need you don't have an appetite, like an unnatural lack of appetite. That's different. But yeah, so she for dinner a lot of times it'll be like kind of whatever I made or we ate for lunch. There's some like leftovers, or she'll go and kind of just do something and make her own something, which is good because it's getting her to be a little more independent. Is it weird that I'm just like looking at you on the screen and I'm not looking into the camera? And then sometimes
I'm
I
doing
catch
the
myself.
same thing.
It's like, I don't know, people in the chat, is it weird that I'm not looking at the camera and I'm looking off because I'm talking to you and so I'm looking at you. And it's
I'm
weird to
doing the
just
same. I've noticed a couple times.
look into the camera as I'm talking. Yeah.
Like, hey
I
guys,
don't know. It
don't
feels more
talk to you.
natural to me, but I don't know. If I look like a weirdo on camera, deal with it. So yeah, so how long have you had, back to you, how long have you had the ranch then? You were saying.
We bought it in April 2018, so we've had it about 4 years. It was a long time coming. We definitely worked towards it for many, many years. So the price of real estate in California is expensive. And I mean, I guess it is in a lot of places, really, to be honest, but to be able to get some property. So we've got just over 5 acres. I honestly, for a while, didn't know if it was going to be a possibility for us. And so we finally just took the leap and did it back in 2018. And it was good timing. I was a little nervous about it, but real estate just has continued to go up, at least thus far. So we were pretty excited about it. And of course, we couldn't bother to build barns or anything. The first job was, let's get some fences up because I got to get those donkeys.
Oh, yeah.
But
Get those fences. Yeah.
Yeah, we built hundreds of feet of fencing. Gary and I were out there working on it because the first thing we had to do was get some animals.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's really nice and quiet. We used to live in town where we had kind of just a regular house, small backyard. But it's amazing the difference between just car traffic noise, kids playing, things like that, and how peaceful it is out here. So quiet. You can go outside. You can leave your windows open without any interruptions. It's really nice.
I almost just drank my microphone. Sorry.
Oops.
Grabbed the wrong thing. Yeah, the cost of land. I mean, fortunately, you're in kind of a smaller, quieter section of California, but still.
Right. Yeah, we're not like in the Bay Area or Southern California. It'd be even harder there.
So I saw this picture and I thought of, I went back. Okay, hold on. Where is it? There we go. And I thought of y'all. I'm like, oh, I need this on a shirt. And mainly I thought of Nicole. But anyways,
I drink and I know things.
Yeah. I garden, I drink, and I know things. Yes.
I agree, Nicole. I think it's the best. It's really nice to come home from work after a long day and just have some peace.
Hey, Tasha. How are you? Very nice. Welcome in, the queen of TikTok. If you need any TikTok trips, go follow Tasha over on TikTok. I've been bad. Every time I think I have a video to post on TikTok and then I don't bother and I just do a reel on Instagram and I'm like, oh, Tasha would be so ashamed of me. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get back on my TikTok, but I'm just trying to keep videos coming and processing the videos because like it's planting time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work just to keep up with YouTube.
Half of the day yesterday I spent trying to recover my rhubarb videos that I accidentally deleted. And I knew that you could recover deleted files, and I searched and I tried to find programs, and so many of these programs, okay, so they say they're free. They're free to download and to scan. So you download it and then you scan and you see all your little files, boom, 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 that you want. And so you click on them and then you click recover and then it goes vroom, purchase for $80. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So yes, I was very upset, and I finally found one that was totally free, super fast,
good.
super easy, and recovered all my footage. And I was like, yes.
Oh, awesome. Good. I'm glad you were able to do that. That's so
So
much work.
I posted the link on my Facebook page, Brampton. Oh, look, I have a floating hand. Woo. Sorry, I'm easily distracted, and I'm not drinking. I'm sober. This is just me. Yeah, I posted the link over on my Brampton Gardener Facebook page, saying a big thank you to the company and their software. So if you too ever accidentally delete or even format, I think they can recover even formatted discs off
Oh,
of your
wow.
SD
That's
card or
awesome.
anything like that. It's free, and I have the link over on my Facebook page if you ever need it. It's CC Cleaner is the name of the company, and then it's Recuva, something like that is how it's spelt. I don't know how it's pronounced. And this is why we love you.
Nicole's doing
Okay.
better than us.
Yeah. And Danny is back. Oh, yeah, Danny, we had a chicken math question. You're up to what, 6? I think that's your max, right? Like, fortunately, the city legislates that she's not allowed more than 6. So they put a thing up on her. Yes, I know. It's hard. It's hard. Insta is the easiest, I think, to keep up with because it's just like right there. Boom, boom, boom. And if we're in the car on the way to work, my husband's driving, I can just sit there and kind of flip through stuff. YouTube is harder, especially when people put out longer videos. Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, I'm tired. And, I'm so busy just putting up my videos. I don't have time to watch as many people's other videos. So, and it's funny, like, I don't know if you're like this, but it's like, 15-minute video. Oh, that's too long. I don't have time for that, but I'll go join a live and be in there for like an hour and a half.
It happens.
I like lives. Nicole, I'm just teasing Nicole because she only does like one video a week and she does the garden tours. So hers are longer because she has the garden tours. Whereas I am putting out several videos a week.
I love
But shorter
Nicole,
videos.
though. Like, everything she has is so gorgeous.
Oh, it's
It just gives me
amazing.
garden
Yeah.
envy, Nicole.
I really like how they have it all laid out and her new garden beds. And I like seeing the weekly development of each plant.
I
Like
do
you see it
too.
and then all of a sudden the next week it's just like, oh my goodness, right? Yes.
Well, that gives me all the ideas on all the things that I'm missing in my
Exactly.
garden,
No,
right? Like, this is on my list for next year.
some longer videos are just fine. I enjoy like some of them. Like I remember, especially back, before I got into the YouTube and met all of the, smaller YouTubers that I follow now. I was a huge garden answer addict. And honestly, if she posted something that was less than, 25 minutes, I was disappointed. Because I'm like, I want to sit here and drink my coffee. It was 2020. I'm not going anywhere. We were off work for 3 months, right? Like we were in lockdown. We had no work for 3 months. I got nowhere to be. I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee and I want to watch as much of this as I can. So, yes.
I like the longer
We
videos.
love you too. Oh no, she's in the I love you man stage.
She's a couple drinks in.
She's a couple drinks in
by
by now, yeah. She's half a box in. No. Oh yeah, and Danny is maxed out. Unless
Is
she
it
like
a
starts
max, Annie, or just a guideline?
unless she's like me and starts, spreading out into the neighbors, which are on this side.
I'm sure it's a guideline.
How long do you have to be on YouTube before you can just automatically point the right direction? Like, is that a
Well, you just do this, right? Use both.
It's somewhere. Yeah. Oh, my lilac. Oh my God, it smells so good right now. Even Dexter, it was so funny.
Are smelling good.
We were up there and Dexter's like looking around like with his nose in the air sniffing. And so I pulled a branch down for him to sniff the flowers. And he was just like, and he was just taking these deep sniffs. It was so cute. But then I was like, okay, but don't trample my, she was trampling some flowers around it. But
that's what I'm thinking. Good thing he leaves the flowers alone. He seems like he's a very helpful little guy.
So helpful, in fact, that he thought it would be really helpful to pull out all the tomato labels. And run around with them. So I have hidden them in the front of the bag.
Okay.
I think
is that working?
I think the video is coming out tomorrow. Oh, it's supposed to come out tomorrow, but I'm working tomorrow and I forgot to finish editing it. So I might finish editing it tonight. I just have to finish the music and kind of get it like lined up.
Okay.
Make sure I reduce the sound when I'm talking and then it's back up when I'm zipping along and doing stuff. There's not a lot left to do. So yeah, I have like tucked the labels in right at the front of the grow bag so he can't see them.
Okay.
But then that way I know what variety is which.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I use like the mini blinds. So
Oh,
people were
okay.
throwing out and they were like the wide ones like I have in here. So like 3 inches wide and they're hard plastic. And so then I just cut them and then if you write on them with pencil, you can erase it and pencil never fades. So don't waste your money on all these garden markers or oil Sharpies or anything like that because they will all fade or smudge at some point. Pencil does not. Pencil does not wear off. It does not wash off. It does not bleed. It does not fade from the sun. And then you can just erase it and use them again next year.
Oh, that's a clever idea. I just made some rock markers and painted them, and I used some UV spray. So I've got a video. I actually filmed the video, so I've got that coming out pretty soon. So I'm hoping that lasts. I wanted to come up. So every single time I try new varieties, I tell myself I'm going to keep them labeled. So I label them in the greenhouse. But then when I get them into the garden, there seems to be some mishap. So I thought if I have a label ready to go when I'm transplanting, then at least I can save seed for the ones I actually care about knowing the variety. Of course, once they grow, I'll know what they are.
Yeah, no, that's great. I have my label assistant. So when I'm planting stuff, that's her job is to write the labels of the plants and then hand them to me.
I need one of those.
You need one of those. She used to not be super helpful. It was several years ago, and I was trying to do a few tomatoes, and I said, okay, you need to write the names on the label. So I handed her the little. Oh my God, I'm all over the place tonight. Popsicle sticks. Yeah. So I gave her, it was just little popsicle sticks I was using, right? And so I'm telling her to write the names on them. And I had a list. Well, she doesn't look at the list. So she hands me the sticks to put in, and it's like Bob, Larry, Sarah, Mary. She was naming them. Yeah, she thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty good.
Regular pencil. And I use a mechanical pencil on the littler sticks, but just regular pencil works. Nothing fancy,
and
honestly.
Water doesn't remove the pencil marks?
No.
Oh, that's good to know.
Nope. Like my winter sewing containers did great, except I faced them. I had this brilliant brainstorm. I'm going to face them out so that I can see them from outside the container, right? Instead of having to try to look in the hole and see what they are. Okay, well, 2 things. Condensation.
Okay.
And the blue containers were too dark. So I could not read any of them the entire time. So face in, always face the labels in to the center, because I could read the back of some of them that I had erased partially from last year. I was like, oh, that I could have read. So that was my terrible brainstorm that I had while making the video. I thought, oh, this is a great idea. No, it was terrible. Okay, hopefully the 2-year-old goes to sleep. Right, yeah. Oh my goodness. You didn't wear her out good enough today. Go have her play fetch. Sydney,
I don't know. Danny might be in for a long night with the 2-year-old.
Sydney was really good at fetch. Gizmo refused to go get it, but Sydney would run down the hallway and get it. So we would throw the ball for her when she was little. I don't know. Like mine are out all summer long. Wind, rain, snow. Okay, well, there's no snow in the summer, but in the winter sewing containers, there was, snow and whatever. Try it on the other side. So do both. So if you have those kind of labels or whatever, on wood, pencil's not as great because the wood, anything on it, if the wood starts to wick up moisture, it doesn't matter what you used, it's gone. But on like a plastic something or other, the pencil. But, use your fancy marker on one side and then do pencil on the other. And then at the end of the season, see which one works. And I do so many different varieties that I like the idea of being able to just erase it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I used the marker on the labels in the greenhouse, but I had to turn them in so that the sun didn't fade them. And within a couple months, they were faded.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my winter sewing container markers, like I can show them to you. I have some from last year. Like a lot of my markers from last year. Um, and they were outside. They were protected. I had them in a bucket outside or whatever, but
Oh, that's good.
you have
Good
vinyl
tip.
ones. Yeah. Yeah, the wood ones don't last here either. I use the little popsicle sticks in the wood in just in my little, because I can't use those big ones in my little 2-inch soil blocks for my tomatoes, right? So I had to use the popsicle sticks, and they're starting to wick up, and that's why I can't read some of them. I'm like,
It'll
this
be
could be a mango
surprise tomatoes.
cherry. This could be. I have a few. I have a tomato that came up in my petunia container.
I had a ton of volunteers this
Complete,
year.
but I mean, like in the house.
Oh, okay.
I started the seeds indoors. And then, they went outside, and then the tomato. So I don't know, maybe, but I don't know where a bird would have gotten
Maybe
a
dropped
tomato
one?
seed this time of year. I don't know. And then it's funny. So up the hill, in my video of 5 things I will never grow again, one of them is the little tiny red currant cherry tomato. So I had started those last year. I had grown them. They're such a pain in the butt. But I'd given a couple of plants to my daughter's, her friend's parents. They live down the street. They loved them. Loved them. So I'm out with my little seedling sale last weekend. I've got 50 million tomato plants out. Her dad comes to pick her up because they're going swimming. And he's like, oh, do you have any of the tiny one? The only variety I did not grow this year. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. That's the only one he wants. They don't like any other tomato. They only want the super itty bitty, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny tomato. So I'm like, sorry. Anyways, yesterday I go out and I'm weeding here. And this is where the 2 tomato plants were. And now right down here, I have found like 30 little tomato seedlings.
That's about right. Right after you needed them.
Yeah. So no, I told her. So she was over today, and so I was like, here. I don't know if she took them. They're out on the porch, but they'll be fine. I'll send them down. So I had like 4 or 5 little tomato seedlings for her to take home.
Oh, perfect.
I'm like, you're in luck. I got the seedlings. So I felt kind of bad, but then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to just grow stuff for other people. I can't do that, right? Anytime I use wood labels, yeah. Yeah, and they can too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I take video. Yeah. I do the video thing too, and I know with Dexter I'm definitely going to need to do the video thing because I cannot trust him not to try and steal my labels. Well, and it's kind of my fault because it was a few weeks ago. We were out on the deck. He was being a pain in the butt. He was driving us nuts. And I had an empty blank one sitting on the table next to me, and I handed it to him to play with. And so he played with it, and it was so funny because it was stuck on the floor. And he's like trying to get it up, and it like we were in hysterics. It's like when you go to like, the cashier and she's got like those really long nails and she's trying to hand you your change.
Can't pick anything up.
She can't pick anything up. That's exactly what it was like. He was trying to pick that thing up. He couldn't. We were laughing. It was keeping him busy. Then he finally picked it up and he was just carrying it all around, right? And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. It kept him occupied or whatever. And then he didn't touch it for a while. And then I put one with the name of a tomato in my tomato plant. And he's like, oh, looky here.
My toys and her plant.
And Randy goes, well, you did give him one to play. I'm like, I never thought that far ahead. Yeah. So it was kind of my fault. So now I'm like cringing. I'm like, ugh.
So you started it. Not Dexter's fault.
Vinyl labels and a Sharpie. Very nice. Yeah. I found some of my Sharpie, though, even kind of ran and faded. And I even bought the fancy ink, the oil Sharpie things from Michael's on clearance. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Usually the wood ones, they're not great. They're not great.
Yeah, my
I like the vinyl labels.
Faded.
And the neighbors up the street were throwing out some mini blinds. They had them at the curb for a while, and I was like, my husband's like, no.
That's a good idea, but I never thought about that.
I should put them on the app. So even the metal ones work too, right? The older style metal mini blinds or the thicker plastic ones. They work great. Tasha uses popsicle sticks. You're old school. I do too, but I find that they just like they're just good enough for the seedlings to get me from like April 1st of my when I start my tomato seeds to when I plant them out. But by the time I was planting them out, they were wet. Like they were wicking up and I couldn't yeah, I just keep an eye out if you see someone on the curb, or you know what, even put an in search of on like Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, because people are throwing them out all the time and they might just be like, oh, that's cool. I kept forgetting I was going to post it on the local gardening group and be like, if anyone needs plant labels, like, come and get it. Like, you know, it was like, you know, probably a lifetime supply of plant labels in there. You just cut them up. And yeah.
There
So
you
do
go.
you
There's
have,
your new business idea.
there's my new business idea. I'm going to be cutting up and selling plant labels. They'd have to be a little bit neater than the ones I have, which I'm using the scissors and they're like all jagged because they're so thick.
You know, I
I'd
call
have to
those
like,
custom.
yeah, custom. Very nice. Custom cut. Jigsaw. Yeah, I'd have to use like an actual. Yeah, that works too. I've seen people do that. Dexter would definitely be eating them at that point. This tastes delicious. Yeah. So, okay. So what varieties of animals, back to you. What varieties of animals do you have on the farm altogether? We know you have donkeys and geese and ducks. No, what did we hear? Ducks.
Yeah, we've got donkeys. We've got 4 donkeys. We've got 2 geese, 2 ducks, 2 goats, a potbelly pig.
Oh yeah, the pig.
Yeah, little Charlie, our little potbelly pig.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of chickens. So we've got, well, we had about 20, 22 chickens. And then I have new babies inside here. So we've got 12 new little baby chicks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So we'll have even more. And then dogs. So we have a little farm cat and
Yeah.
then a bunch of dogs.
Okay.
So like all kinds of animals. Oh, we have, well, these guys, I didn't invite these guys to live here, but now we have rabbits. So I went out one day. We have like a 40-foot storage container that we keep the feed in, like all the hay. And I go out one day and I see one rabbit. And it's like a little cottontail rabbit. It's not a jackrabbit. But I don't have the heart to do anything about it. So that rabbit lives here.
Here's some broccoli.
And, right. And so maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, we see a second rabbit.
Oh
And I
no.
thought, uh-oh, well, this isn't going to go well. So now there's about 5 or 6 rabbits that just run all over the field, and they're just out there living their best life. And when we go out to feed the animals and put them up, they're running all over. They're so happy. They think this is where they live now. So now I've started giving them water and some food over there, and I'm watering like all around our trees to kind of keep it really green so there's good grass out there. Because I don't know what we're going to do to keep them out of the garden. So I'm just hoping they can't find our garden. I don't know.
Don't ask me, because we have rabbits that live under the deck.
Okay. So
And-
you've let them stay also.
What are you gonna do? They're cute,
Oh,
and they run up and down this fence line a lot.
okay.
And I have 3 plants that I put here that are straw flowers, and then I have several calendula that I had planted, and then I had 2 extra calendula were hiding in with my petunias. And so I planted them out, and they're gone. Like I noticed the next day someone had nibbled them, and now they're gone. It's like, how? Why did they left all the others alone? I know. They are really
I can't
cute.
either.
I'm hoping, and unfortunately Dexter like doesn't seem to notice them. Like he could care less. I'm like, the birds he will chase out of the yard, but the bunny, it's like he can't even see it.
He's probably like, Mom, she lives here.
I have a friend. Yes, will you be my friend? He's like, Lenny. Yeah, I don't know. So I was kind of hoping he would chase them out, but not so much.
Well, that gives me hope then, because
I
your
know.
garden looks great. So if you have
Well-
rabbits, maybe I'll be okay.
I put all of my lettuce and kale and stuff are up in the 5-gallon buckets.
Okay.
And I did see a lady on the local gardening board, and she'd gone to a garden center, and they had these hanging baskets that were salad bowls.
Huh.
So they had put a bunch of different kinds of lettuce mixes or whatever in hanging baskets. And I was like, well, that's one way to keep the bunnies out of them. Yeah, like last year, they just kept eating my beans over and over and over. But these beans are sitting here, and they have not touched them. So I don't know. Behind this fence here, like I said, is it's a hill going down the other side that's all just weeds and native plants and whatever. And then it's the main rail line. And so they can go, if they go this way, if they go this way, like maybe it used to be like right behind our house used to all be fields, right? But now if they go up this way a little ways, maybe less than a kilometer, they're back into farmland.
Oh,
So they
okay.
can get around. So this wall back here is the animal highway. So you'll see squirrels go across it all the time. You'll see raccoons going across it. I've seen possums going across it. We used to have a fox that was in our neighborhood, just trotting down the middle of the street,
Oh,
no
wow.
problem. We don't have a problem. I haven't really seen any coyotes in our areas, or coyotes, as some people like to call them. But there are a lot in the city. So next door app is mainly people leaving dog poop on your yard and coyote sightings. That's pretty much what our next door app is basically.
Okay.
So they are a lot. I just haven't really seen them on our street. We had a deer come down the street because, like I said, it's like basically animal highway back there, right? And it's just all open nature. And then at the end of our street, this way, at the end of the street, there are 3 big drainage ponds. That's kind of like a natural reserve area. You walk around behind there, and we have 2 beaver that live in there. We got a turtle, we got Canadian geese, we got ducks. There's a blue heron, which I haven't seen back yet this year.
So a lot of wildlife.
So
That's
it's
great.
a ton of wildlife. And so, we are in a very, suburban setting, surrounded by tons of people, but at least, there is a little bit of that. But, lots of raccoons, and I don't mind the possums. They're disgusting to look at, but they eat stuff, right? They're good.
Yeah, they're the good guys.
Oh, and skunks. Yeah, we get a lot of skunks.
Okay. Yeah, we've got skunks. We do have coyotes, but the donkeys will keep them off the property. So I wonder if maybe that's why the rabbits thought this is a safe place to stay.
Well, exactly. The rabbits are like, look at this place. Oh my God, we've got donkeys. We've got geese. Look at us. Look at us now. Look at us. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got these bougie rabbits out there.
I know. They're like, look at this
We've got
sucker.
green
She's giving us water,
grass.
feed.
Hey, Joe, welcome in. Welcome in. How are you
Hi,
doing
Joe.
tonight? Working hard as usual. Okay, I want to pop this up on the screen really quick because we have a problem. Y'all see this problem? You see this problem? You see this right here? 89. Come on. Come on. 89. You can't leave her hanging. You can't leave her hanging at 89 subscribers, people. Do what you gotta do. I dropped the link. Gotta get her up to 90. She's gotta get her way. I would love to see her at over 100 by the end of the weekend. So hopefully people will check out the live stream later. And I do think I have your link in the description, right? So all our Facebook groups are dog poop and coyote sightings too. And oh, what's a helicopter for? And I just heard gunshots. What happened? Except it was just a couple of fireworks. Yeah. So our neighborhood is kind of, it can be a little rough here in Brampton. It's considered the armpit of the GTA. And it's like the fireworks go off there's always fireworks. I don't understand why there's constantly fireworks going off. Like, it's very common here. And you'll be at the park and you're like, fireworks or gunshots? Fireworks or gunshots? So,
that's concerning.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's crime seems to have really been an uptick lately. A lot of carjackings and cars getting stolen, and yeah, that's a really, really big problem right now. So, your best defense is just to have a crappy car. So, there you go. Then you're good. You're good to go. Oh my gosh. Yay! Okay, I'm happy now. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, you guys.
She would, but she was already subscribed. Tasha subbed. So go check out her. She's
Thanks,
got
Tasha.
lots of nice little videos. Her keto chili rellenos. I'm like, if I'm growing my own poblanos, they're getting battered and fried. I'm sorry.
No, it was so good. You gotta try it, Rochelle.
I will. I'll try it, but I'm gonna probably have to try the real way too, right?
Yeah, of course. I actually
won't
got
do it
Gary
back
to
to
tell me,
back,
though,
but-
it's better than the restaurant. So I was like, okay, that's a win.
Well, yeah, even like your own homemade. We used to do like cheater jalapeno poppers. You
Same.
like buy like the pepperoncinis.
Oh,
And you
okay.
slice it over and you put a little bit of cream cheese in it and like just throw it in the microwave or pan fry it and heat it up. Delicious.
Okay.
So yeah. So here it is. It's donkey heavy. If you're into donkeys, yes. You just have a lot of frogs getting it on. Oh, and they're loud. Like frogs can be loud when they're doing anything, but when they're I remember we went camping a few years ago, well, a lot of years ago, and there was something about, oh, it's like frog mating season or whatever, and it's just like, and it drove our dog Gizmo at the time nuts. So then they're croaking all night long, and he's disturbed and bark. And it's like, no, you're not allowed to bark because we're camping. So, oh my god, yeah, I don't mind the sound of it, but he couldn't handle it. So, and
Well,
how
it's
to
like our
very
house. All
handy
kinds
how to
of
open and
animals
close
making
a
noise.
storage container. I know I can hear the chicks. It's funny if you follow Lisa over on Yogi Hollow Farm, they've been hatching turkeys.
Yes.
So you can
Oh.
hear them in the background. It's like it's like the party going on.
Oh, I love baby turkeys. They're
Wait,
so cute.
seed storage? People do that? Seed organization? What?
Welcome back.
You organize them? You don't
I
just throw them into
did.
random bags and then
No, that's
complain when you...
actually, that was my organization system, right? The box method, the bag method. Yes.
Look what I
No,
found tonight under my serger. It's my episote. I had brought them up apparently to show for one of my live streams, and this is also my sewing room, and so it had slid under my serger. And so today when I was readjusting something, my serger was crooked and I straightened it out and I found my episode seeds, so I'll be starting those. Yeah.
Well, what would happen to me all the time is I need to start certain things. Like I have to start the peppers early, and then I couldn't find them. I would know that I bought a certain variety. So ever since I put them in the binders, it was a little bit of work to get started. But now I can find everything I need. So it's been working really well.
Oh, thanks for that thought, Joe. Thanks. So disappointing. Oh gosh. So you can see the chat, right?
I can now. Yep.
Okay. Not just when I pop it up, right? But you can see it.
No, I can see it. For a while I couldn't, but I switched over to where the comments are. So I can see it now.
Okay. Or yeah, because sometimes, yeah, if you have a screen on YouTube open, it doesn't work. But sometimes if you do the pop-out chat on YouTube and then close the main screen so you're not streaming the video part.
Okay.
That's what I do too. I have that running as well as a backup because I find that I get the comments come in faster on YouTube than they do on StreamYard. But then on StreamYard, I can actually put them up on the screen. So,
Okay.
yeah, she was at 91. Let's see. Yeah. Well, you're getting there. I mean, that's great. Like I'm looking back on like, how many I had, it's so slow to start and you're just creeping up. And of course, like I didn't know anything about like the YouTube gardening community at all when I started. I just started because my husband was sick and tired of hearing me talk about my plants, and we were in lockdown and I didn't have anyone else to talk to. And I wanted to talk about it, and I had done a video from okay, so I started 2021 was the year I did it. In 2020 at the end, I filmed what is now a terrible video on loofah. But I did a quick little video on it because I was doing a lot of seed swaps and people were wondering, well, what's loofah? What does it look like? How does blah, blah, blah. So I did a quick little video on it and I posted it on I had a sewing page on YouTube. I posted it on there just to have somewhere to share it from. And then I shared it on a few different places and on my gardening boards, and people were like, oh, and they loved it. And they loved the video. And then I did a little garden tour video. And then I did a video of, I had grown my tomatoes in, I hadn't bought grow bags yet, but I had grown them in the reusable shopping bags.
Okay.
From Dollarama, which is the Canadian big dollar store here. And they're like bright green. But I could get them 3 for $1. So that's a great price for a grow bag. And so I done a little video clip on that and people seemed to like it. And then I was like, well, why don't I just, do a YouTube channel? And honestly, I never thought, because I'd done the sewing channel and I have, I don't know, maybe 40 subscribers on there. Because it was only ever for, I used to do a lot of pattern testing for companies that were like, a lot of these stay-at-home people that are like starting their own pattern companies. And so they need pattern testers and stuff, right? So you get the pattern for free and then you test it and you make something and then you take pictures of it and then promote it and whatever. So I was on a few different teams for that. And so there were a few times where there were techniques that I'm like trying to explain. Like I had a great tip on how to gathering. I will not do the basting stitches and all of that. I have a great tip for gathering, where you basically use zigzag over. So some people zigzag over like fishing line or just the regular threads, or you can zigzag over dental floss, and then you just pull it and it just like slides super easy. My trick is I zigzag it over elastic thread. And I pre-measure the elastic thread to the length I want it to be, and I mark it, and then I zigzag it over. And so even if you're pulling it and it's all out, when you get to the end, you tie your elastic, like if you're doing like a circle waistband that you need to have, evenly pleated, you tie it straight, and then when you pull it, stretch it out all the way and let go, it just automatically gathers it. Done.
Oh, that's clever.
So you're not sitting there going like this and then like this and then like that. It drives me nuts. So that was my trick that I kind of accidentally discovered when making a bubble skirt. I was like, wait a minute. Could you do this when you're attaching it to the waistband? And I tried it and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's easy. And then I had another video on how to sew curves, like concave curves. So when like you're sewing a sleeve into an arm side and they're like opposite directions. And so most people will get like their set of pins out and put like 20 million pins in it. But I took some bra making classes online, and you're not allowed to use any pins in bra making at all.
Oh, okay.
At all. And so to sew anything together, especially curves, I call it like the hand over hand method. So your right hand holds the bottom fabric and your left hand holds the top fabric. And you literally just line it up as you go. And it's so much faster. It's super easy. No pins, no. Sometimes I'll put a pin like just in the shoulder halfway point, just to make sure I'm not like, I haven't messed up, but it's super easy. So I had just a handful of those. And then I have one for like a swimsuit. Like it was kind of this confusing way to attach the straps in the back, the way they crisscross. So I did a video on that. So it was basically just to kind of share for specific people in the community, and for them to use, because some of my friends are like, oh, I don't know how to film, or like, oh, she's like, I hate hearing my voice on film. I hate it. And I said, well, I'll film it for me. I don't mind. And so that's just that. I wasn't trying to build a channel at all. Like it was just, as a way to point, instead of sitting here trying to explain it to you and to everybody that would ask over and over and over in the chat, I'd be like, here, just watch this. Just watch this. And so I kind of thought that the gardening would just be kind of a small handful of people that might watch it, might not watch it. I had no idea about the community of people. And I know so many people, there were some of the larger ones in this gardening soil family community, like Lead Farmer, and a lot of people watched his videos, and that's who inspired them to start their own channel. Honestly, I had no idea who he was until like last fall. Like I didn't know. Like I never found his channel to start with. I started watching all of these other little channels the smaller channels that were inspired by him, and then I was like, oh, this is who this guy, that I keep hearing people refer to it, because I know Anne, who was in the chat earlier, I know she used to mod for him and all this and that, and he's the reason she started. And I was just like, so I kind of came in at it backwards, that wasn't why. So I didn't know about this community before I started my channel, and I didn't know any of the requirements. I didn't know anything about the 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours. I had no idea. I was just doing it as an outlet, because I'm a very social person. And it was funny, my friend the other day, we went for lunch, and she said, during lockdown, she goes, I was very worried for you. She goes, I didn't know how you were going to handle lockdown, because I'm the kind of person that takes me, half an hour to get to the park, which is at the end of the street, because I have to stop and talk to like every neighbor on the way. So for me, it was just like, I needed that release. I needed to be able to, to share my garden. Because of my house, I'm in a townhouse. I don't have an outside access to the garden. So when we were in lockdown, you couldn't have people over. It's like, I couldn't really, okay, run through the house holding your breath. And so it was just like, I'd spent all this time and I loved how my garden looked and I enjoyed spending time back there. And, normally I would have friends over in the summertime. I usually had in August, like at the end of the summer, I would have like an end of summer soiree, and just have a bunch of ladies over with, drinks and snacks and stuff. And so I was really missing being able to share my gardens with people and the plants and the flowers. And so that was, why I started it. And then just slowly I started meeting people and I was like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, gardening is great for my mental health, but so has been the YouTube community.
Yeah,
Because
like the social
it
aspect of
gave
it,
me
right?
that
Being
social
able to share
aspect
it.
that I just wasn't able to get during this time period. And I think had it not been for the big C, probably a lot of us never would have started these channels, and we wouldn't have built that connection that we did, because we would have been out actually hanging out with real friends, that we had made in real life, right? Or doing other things like that. I would have spent more time, down at the park. Playground was closed, for the summer, for several months in the summer and stuff, right? So, yeah, she didn't know anything either. I'm slowly trying to pull her out of her shell. Yes, I'm very much an extrovert. It's funny, my husband is not. So opposites attract. Um,
There you go.
so yeah, like he's he's happy with just a few friends and hanging out in the back and relaxing, and I'm like, I need people. I need
You
to
need a
talk.
lot of people.
I need a lot of people. I enjoy it. The other night I had the seedlings, right? And I had some friends up the street that wanted some, and they were busy in the front yard doing some stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'll just go get them. So both of the neighbors right next door wanted some. So I went and I got my wagon, and because I had a big tray full of the seedlings. So I put them in a bin in the wagon, and I literally walked up the street, and anyone that was outside that I passed, either walking or out in their yard, I was like, you want some tomatoes? I gave out so many different tomato plants, and I got to talk, because we have a lot of turnover on the street, of new neighbors and everything. And I got to actually sit and, talk, not sit. They were sitting, I was standing, but talk and like meet the neighbors and sit and chat. Why do you keep saying sit? I wasn't sitting. I was just chatting.
Just talking.
Yeah, just talking and handing out tomatoes. Oh, this is this. And the one couple, I've waved and said hi to them, for the past year or so, and that's it. I got to learn their names. She took like 6 tomatoes. It was great. And I was like, I need like some kind of music, like as I'm going down the street, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Come get your tomatoes. Hey, David Gray, welcome in, and awesome. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
David. Thank you.
We appreciate it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Fake it till you make it. I was thrilled when I figure out thumbnails. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Very rarely should you ever go with the ones YouTube chooses. I think YouTube thumbnails have a good sense of humor. Some of them,
Yeah, they get some good ones.
I'm always like, it's like, really, that's the one you chose. That's
Yeah,
where you went with that. Yeah.
They catch you in a really good moment.
He likes donkeys. That's awesome. And donkeys are awesome. You will enjoy her. Oh, it says 92. Let me double check. I'm going to change it again. Let me see. Where we at? Dun, dun, dun.
I'll do more donkey videos. It's a donkey and a little bit of garden.
And I want to get you should do a short. And this could go viral for you. Got to get a short of the donkey doing the big hee-haw.
Okay.
That's what I want.
That's easy enough.
All right. Yeah. I want that for me.
Well, thank you so much, Rochelle, for inviting me to participate. I really do appreciate
it's getting late.
it.
I got to get going. I got work tomorrow, so yay. Well, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, you're a lot earlier than me. So 3 hours?
Yeah.
3 hours earlier, right? Yeah. Because my parents are in Anchorage, right? So they're 4 hours earlier. So that's always tricky for me.
Yeah.
To try to get in. So well, we got 9 people still in here. Thank you so much. If you hadn't hit the thumbs up button, go ahead and hit it. If you have any questions for people that are watching this on the replay, if you've made it this far, feel free to drop some questions. If you have any questions for Mayfield Ranch, down in the comments. And if you haven't gone over and checked out our channel, go ahead and do it. And thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome
you so much
anytime
for inviting
in my
me.
chat.
I appreciate
Love to have you here, and I look forward to some more donkey and geese and piggy. That little pig is pretty cute.
Little
cute.
Charlie,
Not
yeah.
gonna lie, Charlie's pretty cute. Pretty cute. Yes. So, and thank you to everyone that came in tonight and was chatting with us. And
Yeah. Thanks, you
yeah.
guys, for subscribing.
And thank you for subscribing. We're gonna get you there. You got to get to 100. So, if anyone here has the, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, if you enjoy her content, and you know what, I saw her videos. I'm like, you don't have a lot of videos out, you don't have a lot of subscribers, but you have a great presence, screen presence, right? You're interesting to listen to. You've got nice personality coming across on the screen. You've done nice editing.
Oh,
You know,
thank
sometimes
you.
you see smaller channels that don't have a lot of subscribers, and you know why they don't have a lot of subscribers. Because it's painful. But you are not like that. You are up and coming. You're going to get a lot of subscribers. You're going to do really well. You're very animated. And
Oh,
you
thank
have
you so
beautiful
much.
property, lots of content available. So I think you're going to do great. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of a boost or a kick if we can. So if anyone here has enjoyed the channel, enjoys her content, if you want to share it out on your community tab, I'm sure she would be more than thrilled. At least get her up over that 100 so she can get her special customized little URL, whatever you want to call it. So again,
I would
thank you so
definitely
much.
appreciate it. Thank
She
you
would
so
appreciate
much.
it. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a great night and a great weekend, and happy planting, because I'm still planting. I still got a lot of planting to do around here. So I'm going to call it a night, and thank you again. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, David is busy tomorrow getting 24 asparagus, and oh my goodness. Nope. Hard pass. I got a lot of my own stuff. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Cape Cod, everybody. All right. I'm finally
Bye,
leaving.
guys.
Happy gardening.